We're back. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to Sidetrack, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. Look.
Hey, Harris,
Hell,
who are you looking at?
Y'all.
Who are you looking at?
I can stare at you right here.
Make eye contact. Teenagers today.
Well, how are y'all? It's been frickin' forever since we've been able to do one of these things. What is it, 2 months now?
I'm hot and sweaty.
That's
Sorry. That is my fault. I'm sorry, guys. Most of you guys know I haven't been 100%. I had a little bit of a, should we call it a relapse? But I'm okay now. So all good.
All right. Well, do y'all want to just jump into what we've been watching and things like that, or should we talk about some of the things that are big right now? Because there's Boys and House of the Dragon back. Have y'all caught either one of those just yet?
I'm actually really enjoying The Boys.
Really?
Really. Gen V is crap. It's still crap. But I'm actually, The Boys feels it's still a bit over the top for me. It's still a bit like, okay, more gore. But House of the Dragon's kind of the same. So, but
Okay.
but to me, it's Carl Urban. Carl Urban can do no wrong for me. Do not say his fucking catchphrase, Stormy.
I was going to say we cannot quote anything from The Boys.
No.
There's not one line in the entirety of The Boys and all the seasons that we can quote on here and not get dinged.
Particularly
Just
supposed to
say-
You do, though. You're more than willing to. Even with me in the background going, no, do it. Anyway, never mind. Yeah, I'm actually, I've seen 3 episodes.
Oh, you haven't seen the 4th one, the new one yet?
No, not yet. But I'm just like, do you know, like how some people accuse it of being woke? Word I personally hate. I am watching this season and going, I'm not sure which side of the good guys and which side of the bad guys. I mean, they may as well have had an episode with like Super Biden versus Super Trump, and just have them knocking it out. Biden in his super-powered wheelchair, like little mobility scooter, throwing nuclear-powered Words Originals at Biden. At Trump. And then Trump with his just like super head just goes and just like batters everything away.
So you're saying the toupee would work the same way as what is it? Meat? What was it? Magic Meat? What was the guy's name from season 1 with the? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I know you mean. Yeah, with his penis.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd see that. But it's basically, you know, when we say that how the best thing about sci-fi is that we can have metaphors. The metaphors are a bit skinny. They're a bit in your face. But I'm just watching the superheroes, just like waiting for that guy with a map. I watched. Do you guys watch the Today Show?
No.
No, so I love that, and they're always interviewing MAGA people, and they go on these rallies, and the one guy has got like we love Jesus and Trump, and it's got Jesus and Trump, and the one guy who's interviewing him, he said, so we're not worried about like the false idols thing, and the guy that made the trailer went, nah, it's fine. It just reminds me of them. Every time I think I want somebody in a red hat to come on and.
Episode 4 is about to fulfill everything that you need there, and then some.
Is it gory? And are there boobs?
Kind of on both of those. Yeah. Oh, actually, one part very much so on the first notion there. And then there, you know how there's like something every season. Season 1, obviously, spoilers for everybody that hasn't seen The Boys, just for a second, but like season 1. Huey has a certain somebody get splattered. Season 2, the whale. Season 3, the termite. There's something in episode 4 for season 4 that is going to be like
that shock factor. It's the same in House and Dragon, isn't it? Generally, not the last episode, but the episode before, there's always like a big shock moment, and that's got to be in every season nowadays, hasn't it? Yeah. But mate, you don't really have to say. We'll talk about Dave in a second. You don't even have to say spoiler alert. If somebody hasn't seen the first season of Boys at this point, I don't think they're going to.
That's a good point.
Because it was like 5 years ago. So, but yeah. Dave's just said, anyone seen that Kevin Costner isn't coming back? It's going to be
To Yellowstone or?
Yeah, Yellowstone. I don't think he was ever going to, but I wonder if he's already filmed bits for the start of the season. It is going to be weird if he's just not there at all. He's just not coming back to film, though, isn't he? So
they started filming, but I don't know if there were actually like reports. I haven't seen on IMDb Pro if he was actually part of said filming or not, or anything like that. Fingers frickin' crossed. Obviously, there's the young John Dutton that you can play some stuff off with, but that's not modern day happening now stuff. Which I guess now, if he's breaking his contract, you can kill him off. Taylor Sheridan can kill him off, but we'll see.
Yeah, Taylor Sheridan. It is Taylor Sheridan. Also did the mayor of
Kingstown,
isn't it? Yeah, I
just Special Ops Lioness, Kingstown. He did Bass Reeves, 1883, 1923. That man.
I saw that. I just started watching the mayor though. I quite like. Even though I spent most of the first episode going, I don't understand. Klopp sipping Varsenal's tears his comment was deleted. What? YouTube sometimes deletes comments if it thinks you're breaking their thingy rules, mate. So it probably wasn't us. YouTube sometimes does that without us, without our permission, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're wild. Sticking out with you.
Cancel culture. Sticking out a joke for the Rizzler. Before we talk about anything else that we've watched, like I was going to ask you something about the Acolyte. Because I'm not a big Star Wars fan. I might have mentioned it. Star Trek is much better than Star Wars, and Star Wars is generally shit. A bit. Even the first three movies. Now, here's controversy for you. I don't even like the first three movies that much. They're all right, but I find them a bit boring. But anyway, I met a guy, or I was chatting to a guy about 6 months ago who said he'd seen some early footage of the Acolyte. I think it was during some of the. I think I could say he actually did some CGI work on it and stuff. So he saw a bit of the in the post production. He saw bits of it. And he said, I've written down his quote because I messaged him and asked him what he thought of it again. He goes, it's a steaming pile of. I've already sworn once, haven't I? So I think I can swear it. I can get away with that one.
Oh, yeah, we're past that first minute. You're good.
Yeah, he said shite. It's a steaming pile of shite. But what he basically said was, like 2 years ago, Disney sort of went with Star Wars, and you'll know this better than me, Poor Harris. You can probably fill in the blanks because I don't really follow it. But he basically said that they had a big shutdown and a rethink and a redirection on Star Wars because they felt like it was going. There was too much. The conservatives were getting too angry about it, and a lot of the fans were negative. So he said, and he could see where they'd sort of changed direction. And he says, and then he watched this, and he was just like, how the hell did this slip through? Because this is like everything that they said they weren't going to do, like, boiled down even more, and the conservatives really don't like it. Are really not going to like it. He didn't say the conservatives. He said something along the lines of red cap wearing swear words that I really can't say because you'll get that golden money thing. I've only watched the first episode and I just thought it was boring. But I think all Star Wars is boring. How right is he? After what episode are we on now? 4, 5 or something?
4.
So yeah, so Acolyte. So I've been reading some of the stuff. The let's call them pre-publishing notes from indistinguished Twitter users, and for their op-eds on how shitty and horrible Acolyte's going to be. It's all woke. It's all lesbians. And there was a hashtag running around, Star Wars lesbians, on all of these. I'm going,
that sounds freaking awesome.
So it was going to be freaking Star Wars lesbians. I mean,
Weren't these Star Wars lesbians made pregnant by the Force, or was that?
Yes. Or the lesbians made them pregnant using.
This is canon. So, but anyway, I liked. I did think episode 1 was slow, but like episode 1 of everything seems to be slow, with some few exceptions. Like Mandalorian, I think was slow. But I've seen the last episode this week, and I liked it. I mean, I couldn't identify. I had my woke meter out. It was tuned in, trying to find the wokitude of any of this. It was just. I thought it was a fun, sci-fi story that you don't base a religion on. I mean, there's some intrigue, but mostly it's an action. And oh my God, a Force using Wookiee. I need more of that in my life.
Well, the writers aren't going to give it to you because the writers don't know how to write a story. I don't think they actually the wokeisms per se aren't necessarily as prevalent as expected, but damn, the actual storytelling aspects of this show are some of the worst I've ever seen put onto such an expensive show. It's quite awful.
And I think that is saying a lot about the actors being able to pull this off to make it entertaining. I don't think I agree with you. I don't think the scripts are all that much, but the actors have taken what they've had, and I think they've done an admirable job with it. No, it's not going to be the best thing ever. It's not Rogue One, but the actors have taken what they've got and they've run with it, and I think they've done an admirable job of pulling it out.
Because it's that's the biggest struggle for them, because there's not source material to work with at all, and you want to do the best you can with the little time you're given. And if you're Carrie-Anne Moss, the person that like everybody that's not like High Republic, like reading the books, like us, the average Joes that aren't like High Republic people, because I don't even read High Republic or anything like that. We're like, we see Carrie-Anne Moss, okay, we'll watch some Star Wars with some Carrie-Anne Moss. Gets killed off in the first scene.
I know.
Well, now we have the Game of Thrones guy that played King Tommen, Dean Charles Chapman. He'll be good. Oh, killed off in his second scene he's in.
It's not it.
But now we have the Wookiee Jedi. He's killed off before his second scene, off screen in a chair that makes him seem like he's completely useless. He's not a Jedi master that's been hiding in the woods for a decade, keeping himself safe. Make it make sense is what you want to say.
Okay, while you're watching it. The guy that comes on the alleged guy that killed off the Wookiee, he comes on with this headgear, right? I thought I was looking at Spawn.
Now, I mean, I really we can talk about. I can't wait for that reboot. I can't wait.
I look at it like, wait, did I change? Am I watching Spawn now? Is that Tom Hardy? What the hell is going? Oh, it's just he's got dentures or something. I don't know what's going on.
The nickname the internet's kind of given it is Smilo Ren, because it has like that fake smile. But when we were doing the Acolyte watch party the other day, somebody in our chat said Darth Tooth, and Darth Tooth is my favorite.
Ren. Oh, that's clever.
You need to like tell lies about how he got the smile every time, like the Joker and Batman. Goes, well, my father was a thing. Yeah, just lie about it every single time.
Smilo Ren.
So what you're telling me is, Stormy, you love everything, but what you're telling me is, Harris, it's shit.
It's shit, but like Stormy said, there are elements. Oh, my collar's completely screwed up. Just realized that. Anyway, there are elements of goodness in it. There are elements of even greatness in it, where there is something that's it's something that is really cool about it. You're seeing Jedi in a whole new era. It looks good. Everything that's been put to screen looks good. And this last episode, the fourth one, the biggest gripe with the looking of things is like everything so far in the first 3 episodes has been, oh, we're in one room here. We're in a little field here. We're in one room here. It's just very stagnant in the way it's been. And this last episode was lived in. You're in spaceships. You're flying through space, planet to planet. You go to a new planet, kind of explore a little bit. It feels like a lived-in world. They're getting some good stuff back. I just don't know if it's enough, because the things that they are breaking canon-wise that are really pissing people off are major things done in a minor way. Like the Force lesbians per se, where like the 2 witches create somebody. Like that completely screws up Anakin. Like, it takes the entire story of Star Wars away from what it has inherently been since the day George Lucas created it. Like, the people that decided to write that,
wasn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah. So if they took that idea and gone but just gone way too far with it, if they're completely broken the idea.
Technically, Anakin would have two sisters now that lived 100 years prior to him that were conceived through the Force.
Oh, of course, because he was supposed to be special. But what we're saying is,
it's immaculate conception. It's essentially two Jesuses before Jesus. It was double space Jesus prior to space Jesus. And Anakin would now be like the second/third coming, which just isn't what George Lucas ever wrote. Whatever, yada yada yada.
He's old. I can't do a third coming anymore.
I hope we get back around to queer raccoon Jesus. That's who I'm hoping for in the next. But anyway, something you said.
Sorry, my joke has amused me. Give me a second.
One thing you said, Harris, was they go from one planet to another room. It really the first, especially the first two episodes, reminded me of Rebel Moon. The first episode of Rebel Moon is like, here's all these characters, right? Here's all these characters. We got to go to one to another to another to another, and it's like, this should be an episodic TV, and it the only difference is, Rebel Moon was a film, and
a terrible one as well.
Is just this, is like an episodic version of that. And I'm hoping in the rest of the season we get more of a, since we're almost out of all the people that's supposed to be dead are now dead. Maybe we can get to some sort of semblance of a story that has a larger payoff, like maybe in the last episode of the season. I'm not sure we're going to get that.
Looking at Star Wars and Star Trek and everything else, do you think that's likely? How many times in recent years have you gone, this is building to something, and then you get to the final episode again? Where's the something?
And the thing that hurt the most recently that did that was Star Wars with Ahsoka. It was like, middle of the season, we finally got good. Then those last two episodes were like, well, I guess Ray Stevenson passed away, and I'm going to be extra sad about it now.
Did you have to bring it? I was having such a good day. Damn you. God, I miss him already. He was such
while we're being sad for half a second, rip Donald Sutherland, of course. But
oh, son of a bitch. This is how the whole conversation's gone dark.
I love Donald Sutherland. Donald Sutherland's just one of those actors that his eyes were just crazy. He could do anything with his eyes. He could be crazy. He could be sad. He could be just one of those actors. You just like look at you, and he just did it. And then
remember Sutherland at the very last scene of Body Snatchers? He was.
Oh, that's it. Body Snatchers. That's it.
Yeah, he was screaming, and he found somebody else. He just started screaming and pointing, and it was just in those eyes, man. They were
crazy eyes,
craze, and just
fucking crazy eyes, man. But yeah. It's sad when these actors that we love so much. I still can't get over Richard Harris died. Richard Harris was just one of those actors I just adored. And then and obviously he would have been such a good it was such a much better Dumbledore. It would have just, from a completely selfish franchise point of view, he'd have smashed through that. But he was great as President Snow, which is why they did the spin-off and tried to do an earlier version of him, but then had an actor that has about a millionth of the charisma. Which was a little bit of a problem.
Was this Michael Gabon?
Yeah.
Did you ever see the cook, the thief, his wife and her lover with Gabon, a very young Gabon, and Meryl? And you ever see that?
No.
The cook, the thief, the wife, his wife and her lover was it was a smorgasbord of actors we all love these days. It was off the hook. It was shown in art houses only here in the States. I got to see it twice, but it is a very young Helen Mirren. Very young Helen Mirren. Just, it's not in a theater.
Just to talk about Rebel Moon a second, because we've not been on since the second Rebel Moon came out.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all watched it? I couldn't even bring myself.
I don't know if you guys. I spent a little bit of time in bed for fun, and I watched a lot. I watched a lot of crap. I watched a little bit of Walking Dead, Stormy. Still don't like it. So I tried. My son started watching it and he loves it. He loves Walking Dead. He got me watching Bosch. God, my Bosch is good. But anyway,
Wash is very good. Very
it's
good.
really, really good. I got to watch Bear next. He started watching that and he says that's brilliant. as well.
Really, really good. Bear is
It's
I've
supposed to be amazing.
I watched Rebel Moon Part 2 right now. I was trying to picture this. I've got a cheese grater or a grater thing, right? And it's like a tower like that. And then it's got a circular thing that goes through it, and that's the grater. And then it's got a handle when you turn. You can put stuff in the top and you push it through and it grates everything. I would rather put my entire male genitalia in the top of that thing, push it all down and spin like crazy than watch Rebel Moon again. It was so bad. I would rather then also again get salt and rub it into the wound than watch it again. It wasn't just, but I have to actually question. I completely understand why Disney went, we're not making this. This is a load of shit. But why did then Netflix go, we'll do it?
We'll do it.
What idiot, moron, imbecile just read that script and went, yeah, this will do.
This will do.
I honestly don't understand how he even. Oh, that was starting to squeak on me. Oops. I don't know how he got the funding to make both the Rebel Moon films after Army of the Dead. Army of the Dead was god awful too.
They obviously went, could we do this for like 50 million? Because I could. Do you want 200? Yeah, okay.
Sure.
I'll just make it twice as long. And we'll just wander around looking at each other for bits. Sophia Botella, the lady that is actually a shining light of it, Tony. She is absolutely fantastic in it. But it's just like, we could, I don't know. It's so bad. You know, sometimes you watch something, it's so bad, you watch the end of it and think, the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Surely somebody was editing it and going, Zach, you sure about this, mate? And he's like, yeah, we'll do this. Now, Zach, really, are you sure? You've made some good stuff in the past. What is this pile of... It's just... If I was a director, I'm sorry to go on. If I was a director or a producer, I'm certain I probably couldn't make anything that Zack Snyder's ever made. But then sometimes you watch something and just think, I'm sorry, but a kindergarten kid with crayons could have written a better script than this. What the hell went wrong with this project? Just from beginning to what the hell went wrong?
You just said you might not be able to do as good. Yes, you can. You have AI now, and AI can do everything that movie did. All he did was essentially do the human version of AI and just grab, and copy, paste, instead of actually add something new to it, which sucks, you know? But I still haven't been able to watch the second one. I haven't worked myself up to it. I said how bad the first one was. I will not watch the second one until I can watch the actual first movie, and then I'll watch the actual second movie with the 4-hour cuts. And I know that's not going to be much better, if it's any better, but I would rather watch that full movie than instead of have like myself watch both and just be pissed off, you know?
That's a bit like saying, I once had diarrhea and vomiting at the same time.
Is that number 4?
I mean, every time, literally, I crapped myself. It was a nightmare. And it lasted about 24 hours. A longer version of this film is just that lasting for 48 hours instead. It's just like, it's obviously, I would still kill myself after 12 hours if given the option. It was that bad. If after 12 hours into that, somebody said, do you want to put yourself out your misery now? I'd have gone, yeah, okay. Just prolonging the agony. Just don't do it, man. It's still going to be shit.
You know what my favorite character of Rebel Moon was?
One of them that died?
The Anthony Hopkins robot that shows up
Yes,
for half a minute?
Jimmy. Yes. I could watch Jimmy for hours and hours and hours dissecting Jim Morrison poetry, for fuck's sake. I mean, it was such a well-produced character. And, of course, it's Anthony Hopkins. He can pull anything out of his hat and make it look great, right?
Yeah.
But it was just that it was just like, oh, man, I love me some Jimmy. You know?
The thing with Anthony Hopkins is they drove up to his house with a massive pile of cash in the back of a lorry and then went, dude, you can phone it in.
Literally.
Yeah, we'll send you the script. You phone, we'll do, done. You don't even have to come anywhere. You can do it from your living room. Okay.
Well, you can tell Jimmy the robot's supposed to be like stoic to some degree, but you can tell the lack of enthusiasm from Anthony Hopkins' voice versus the robot he voiced in Transformers 5 or whichever one it was. It's just not there anymore. He's like, all right, here's a paycheck.
He's a little bit distracted because he's counting the money from.
But even with his distraction, I love the character.
Yeah. Mike Wright.
Mike, thank you. Honestly, the other day in the Acolyte stream the other day, you can tell it's our Star Wars folk aren't necessarily as coherent with our insanities as we tend to be sometimes. Because I mentioned a butt plug and no one said anything the other day. They were like,
Well,
what
I mean,
are you talking about? I was like, never mind.
Note my gigantic alien-headed butt plug in the back. I'm amazed no one's caught it, before. I'm just going to point it out now.
Well, yeah, now it's all I can see. I just want to know just above, out of shot. Where's it going?
It's a butt plug with eyeballs.
Oh,
I haven't seen Shogun. I really want to see Shogun.
Shogun. Oh my God, that was great, awesome. And I think they're doing season. I think they got approved for season 2. Is that correct?
And 3.
And 3.
Yeah.
Pretty much straight away. It's a bit like The Night Manager, wasn't it? They literally the first episode went out and they just agreed 2 seasons.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, Matty with his scary eyes.
Scary eyes.
Yes, he's got crazy eyes. Matt's got crazy eyes. Matt, come back when we do a Stargate video, mate.
Yeah, man. Shogun, you would love. It's it pound for pound. Like I was clamoring about 1883 when it came out because it was like the best miniseries I think I'd ever seen. Pound for pound, Shogun beats it out. And now that Shogun's not a miniseries, 1883 can reclaim that title. But Shogun is the best first season of TV I think that might have ever been made, honestly. And that's like no hyperbole or whatever. It's that good.
Yeah. Matt just asked about if we talk about Doctor Who yet. Right. So I watched the first couple of episodes of Doctor Who. I've got this George Foreman machine, right? And it's 2 hot plates and they come down. Bam! I would rather take my male genitalia and stick it in the George Foreman and repeatedly slam the lid down than watch episode 3 of that Doctor Who. It's awful.
You have a lot of testicular destruction fantasies. Would you like to talk about that? How does that
it's the one area of my body I would least like to get hurt. I remember somebody once told me that their cousin had rolled over in the night with an erection and broke their own penis. I didn't sleep for about a week. Literally, their winky was like that. So that stayed with me. But it's evolutionary speaking. If somebody's going to attack you, you're supposed to cover your eyes because that's like evolutionary speaking. I cover my groin. It's
that's stalker speaking.
Well, yeah, I really, really like my groin area. It's I'm not quite sure where this conversation's going, but I do.
Well,
so,
I just hope you continue to send Christmas cards with the picture of your groin area decorated in ornaments.
Merry Christmas, everybody! Going through a Christmas wreath. Yeah, let's do that. Matt has just said the overall season was fine. No, it wasn't. It was awful from the first episode.
Make a video about it.
Make a video.
Didn't I make 3?
Or I'm Matt. Let Matt do it.
Oh, Matt should do it already. Why not?
Yeah,
I'm just glad that the guy whose name has now gone out of my head is in the process of being sacked.
Batman.
Yeah, Batman. Yeah. Because I think he'll be kept on as a producer, but he won't. I'm really hoping for season 3 at least. Well, we've got another season of this crap to come yet because they've already filmed it. But then Disney really put the foot down and went, we can't do more of this. You're not having any more money if you don't sort something out. Was basically what was told. But
we're disturbing Mark's shopping with special talk here. But
did you notice how quickly we deflected from Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Well, I was about to say, you know what? We don't even have to deflect. I know somebody that will tell us what they're thinking about Doctor Who any moment of any day. And I don't think it's great what they're thinking about it, but it is intriguing nonetheless.
Dustin's just asked when Prodigy's been announced. It's been announced, so you'll have to Google it, but it's been announced. I
Yeah,
can't remember.
it's going to show up. Where's it? Is it net? Where's it going? Where's Prodigy going to show up next? Netflix. Okay.
Netflix. But they have released the date. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head though. Oh, Melvin!
Hello.
Melvin! Guys, I just have to run off because Harris was late because he's a useless teenager. I've got to go and take a chicken out of the oven, but then I'll come straight back. So just give me 2 minutes. I'll be with you.
That's his excuse. He's gonna take
In the meantime,
the oven.
I've got to get chicken out of the oven.
Oh,
1 sec.
I think that was.
Let's talk shit about him.
Melvin, just give us the lowdown on some Doc Who.
Fucking heard that.
Okay, yeah. Let's get down to Doctor Who.
Well, let's put it this way. The last 2 episodes, I haven't done a video on it because I just can't be bothered. But I've got the ratings to do, and I tell you what, the ratings just show it all. I mean, it's the worst series of Doctor Who with ratings ever, and it is technically the longest running sci-fi show ever made. So it's not good. It's not good. It's actual terrible crap.
I wasn't a bit. If we're talking about the entire series for this season, whatever the name of the season is, whether it's season 1, I don't know how they're numbering it these days. But I was okay with it seemed like episode 1 was kind of blasé, you know. I was kind of intrigued with the character Ruby Sunday. I absolutely love, like no tomorrow, that there was clips of Tom Baker. And do we need a spoilers tag for this? I can't remember.
Spoilers.
So thank you. Okay, yeah, we're gonna spoil the shit out of this. So I really did like the tying in of an older episode of and I thought that was really well done. The writing there I thought was really well done. I think I do agree with most people. I think Ray Davis he needs to go write, I don't know, EastEnders or something for a while. I haven't really been pleased with the writing. I think the acting, they took, the actors took what they had and ran with it. I'm struggling with the pronunciation of the Insuti.
Kudigawa.
And Kudigawa, thank you very much.
You know what? I know somebody that actually is really good at pronunciating this name. And it makes us feel like our family's whole again.
Oh my God, it's shirtless, Matt.
I'm literally in my wardrobe now trying to put it up.
But
you should choose that specific minute.
You beautiful bastard. How are you?
I haven't seen Matt in forever. He must be trapped in the artist.
Now we're truly whole.
Oh, Lord.
We're here.
Matt, don't lower the camera.
Matt, lower the camera. We want to see you take a chicken out of the oven. Oh, I'm this way from getting banned. I know. I'm just this far. I was saying something really unintelligent about. In Sudigawa, I like his emotional range. He brought a lot after the sternness and the stoicism of Peter Capaldi. I really like that Sudigawa was more of an emotional doctor. Still think these actors deserve better writers. And I know there was a ton of money dumped in.
Well, the audience deserve better writers, though, don't we?
Well, yeah. I mean, but I'm not blaming the actors for the writers.
There is some stuff you can blame the actors for, though.
What would that be? What?
Well, Doctor Who specifically, it's not the Doctor; it's Judy Gatterer.
there are rumors that he was very much
Self-internal.
involved in designing how the Doctor was going to be, talking with what's his freaking name? His name's gone out of my head, and my memory is Russell T. Davis. Thank you. I couldn't quite hear you, but RTD, yeah. That him and RTD got together, and Shooter McGavin was very much involved in how the Doctor would be this iteration. So you can blame the actor for that if there's elements of how the Doctor is you don't like.
It's too much of a crybaby in this season.
Still here. It's just for some reason it's lost connection with my camera.
Oh well.
There we go.
Do you say Matt, too much of a crybaby?
Too much of a crybaby. Yeah, he cried in literally. He's cried in probably every episode.
I'll put it this way: the best episodes were the ones that he wasn't even in it.
Yeah, 73 Up is an amazing episode, and he wasn't even in it.
Yeah,
that's
there are episodes where Kutigawa's not even in there.
Yep. I love him as an actor.
Like
I think he's great, but it's not good.
Well, that's a Whovian saying it's not very good. I said it wasn't very good in the video, and I got slammed. Oh, I got some mean comments. You Whovians are nuts. How wrong we?
They say Star Wars has the craziest fan base. They say Star Trek has the craziest fan base.
I mean, they're no Doctor Who fans to me, you know.
We have the craziest fan base. I'm just sorry. We do. The five of us.
No, you guys are lovely. Shut up.
Crazy awesome is what Stormy was alluding to, of course.
Star Trek fans don't hate anyone else. We're too busy hating each other. So we've got like New Trek's brilliant. New Trek's brilliant.
That's the thing with Star Wars fans. Star Wars fans hated each other for a long time, but it's just they united more under Acolyte.
Of hatred.
Yeah.
Hatred has unified them.
The original trilogy was better. No, the new trilogy was better. We all hate Acolyte. This is crap. Fair enough.
Oh, it's done it again. What the hell's going on with my camera?
It's possessed. Do you have a local ghost?
Oh, he disappeared. Where'd he go?
We've lost a sci-fi quest. A Melvin. Hey, but we've gained a Justin. Howdy. Burn Star Wars. Jay, you found a fellow like-minded fellow.
I wouldn't burn it. I don't think it's worth the waste of fuel.
I don't know what the hell's going on there.
It's too boring to burn.
Yeah.
So what?
Rogue One was good.
So what have you guys watched this week?
I haven't watched anything new. Is the thing. I've come to the realization that everything that's been made in the last 15 years, other than Firefly, is shit. And actually, that's probably more than 15 years ago now.
Let's not talk about that.
So I've just
about the boys.
I have started watching The Boys. I've been enjoying it. Gen V still sucks, but I've been enjoying The Boys. What's new out at the moment? I've started watching old Star Trek episodes, to be honest. If I'm honest, DS9 and stuff. I'm watching that again. I watched a couple of Firefly episodes, and then I've been watching a bit more Bosch. But I've been watching. I've got MGM Plus over at the moment, so I've been watching loads of like films were better in the 90s as well. So I've been watching loads of like MGM movies from like 20 years ago, like Roadhouse and stuff, and they're just so much better.
Yeah, I started in. A friend of mine insisted I watch one episode of Sweet Tooth. I don't know if you've heard of that.
How many episodes are you in now?
I finished all seasons within 4 days.
Yeah.
I was distracted for a second. What?
Sweet Tooth. It's from a graphic novel.
It's actually a very interestingly good show. It's like it doesn't seem like it, but it is actually a really good show.
It is awesome. I mean, I really did like. I mean, it was original, which that was unique.
I mean, how can you not love a kid with antlers?
Oh, yeah. I want antlers. I
Can
want
you tell me what it's about?
Bear,
Three
too.
words.
a rabbit. I want barriers. Those would be cool.
Yeah. Custom, sell it to me then, mate. What is it actually about?
So it's starts out with a crazy scientist
Okay.
who wants to dabble in genetic engineering. Genetic engineering goes real wrong. Then there's a worldwide pandemic, and this really put a capital P in the term pandemic, where it wipes out 99% of all human life. But everybody all the humans is still around and give birth to hybrid humans, which are part animal, random animal, and part human.
Did that little girl have the antlers on her head when she was born? Because
It was a little boy, but yes.
Are we going to get it? Don't you misgender him?
Oh dear.
Jesus. So yeah. Anyway, he was. Well, they grew out. He had like the two little stubs, and they kind of grew
Well,
out.
put it this way: a deer isn't born with
One was
antlers.
cut off, and then it kind of grew
Okay.
back.
I know a deer isn't born with antlers. It was a silly joke, Melvin. For God's sake.
Poor Melvin.
Didn't say it was a good joke.
But I watched. I went through. I just blew through it all. I mean, it was really. It was different, which was really welcome. Then of course,
Did 3 live up to the first 2?
Excuse me.
Did season 3 live up to the first 2?
Did season 3 develop from the first?
Did it live up to the first 2?
Yes, I did. I thought it
Just
had a very unique ending, and the idea of letting nature decide, that was kind of clever. But anyway.
Oh, cool.
If I had a poop and it had antlers, I'd consider that a challenge.
And then some.
I've been keeping up with Dark Matter this week.
Oh, I love Dark Matter.
That
There's
is
still rumors. Every 6 months or so, I hear a rumor the Dark Matter's coming back again. And it hasn't yet. But every 6 months or so, I heard it again quite recently, that apparently there's a production team and they really desperate wanted to do it. And the main actor, the fella, is desperate to do it. I've forgotten his name. I know him from. I don't know his name, but you know his face from lots of different things. He was the main actor in it. But apparently that's desperately trying to get it to come back. Anyway, go on, sorry.
Rewatched The Expanse. I took another friend's advice, and I watched the first episode of Severance. Couldn't stand it. So then I was peer pressured into watching the second episode. It got a little bit better. And then I got past the third episode. It was just magnificent. I watched Criminal Record just to see something else with Peter Capaldi. That was a really dark story. Of course, watched Doctor Who. And this one thing, I saw Jodie Foster was in this thing called True Detective.
Yeah.
No, I saw that.
Yeah, and it was like that was season 4. So
That guy. Can't really see it. Him. No. Him. No. Bollocks.
So anyway,
Limp.
but I didn't want to start in season 4, so I started in season 1, and apparently True Detective is like these.
That guy. He's the guy that's trying to bring it back.
Okay, so True Detective is like this TV series that each season is different cast, different story, and all like that.
Have you seen who's doing it next time?
So True Detective, I saw season 1, and it was really good. And season 2, completely different, really kind of a mundane, I thought, detective story. So I'm going to see what season 3, especially season 4 with Jodie Foster, which is exclaimed to be excellent. So and that's what I've been up to this week. Harris, what are you into?
Well, I've been kind of light, but my light is still typically a little bit more than most people. I haven't been in a movie theater as much per se, but I did go see Bad Boys Ride or Die, which I thought was damn good. It was really good. I saw Young Woman in the Sea, that new Daisy Ridley film. It was really generic, but it was really inspiring as well. I'm a swimmer, so that kind of made me happy. And then I saw If, that new Ryan Reynolds and John Krasinski movie, and that was pretty good, imaginary friend stuff. Besides that, TV show wise, I think I'm 5 episodes in on that Baby Reindeer show for Netflix, which is absolutely freaking terrifying. That stalking is terrible. And
Oh, terrible. Sorry, I thought you meant fun. It's a
uh,
challenge nowadays with like Hive cameras on your doors and things and like things. So stalking's become a lot more of a challenge than it used to be. Like 10 years ago, we had a golden age of stalking when everyone was in the internet and Facebook, so everyone knew where everyone was, but there was no like security cameras. And now it's like, bloody security cameras.
The security cameras make it easy. If you know how to hack into something, you can see anybody anywhere. They have cameras throughout their homes now. They're like, oh, it's safe.
Yeah, it's not the cameras; it's the network they're connected to.
You're right. It's the network. I don't have those things, so I'm still like really long lens, like in a tree. Like, take your bar off. That's doing that. So stalking's a problem for me, and I'm too old to climb trees now.
Yeah, but there's these things now that you can use that they're quite small. They come like this big. They can come nano size. They're called drones. And now they're very quiet and they can hover outside people's windows.
She's getting undressed. It's a noise.
What is that? No.
There is another show.
A lot of the time they've got lights on, so I mean they're not very good for stalking, but for security they're pretty good if you can get them to fly around a perimeter.
As a channel that we only ever have men on here, we should probably be careful of subjects like this. Because I started off as a joke, and then halfway through, I thought, actually, probably avoid this conversation.
Well, talking sci-fi again, and somebody that does stalk and do some interesting things, y'all would be proud of me. I finally started watching a specific show that y'all been saying I need to watch for a while. I'm on episode 2, so not that far in yet.
If you don't say Firefly next, I'm going.
I've already seen Firefly. Remember? Thankfully, all right. A show that we keep saying that you have to watch. This one might also involve a certain somebody from Firefly that was terribly mishandled near the end of Firefly.
You mean Resident Alien?
I'm episode 2 of Resident Alien, and I love it so far. Chaz made sure I got on it. It's good.
It's excellent.
The last thing I saw was the dead hiker. There were the 2 hikers coming up and taking a photo of the dead hiker stuck on the little like gravity thing or whatever it is. I'm pumped.
Yeah. Stephanie's just sort of said that we haven't found any women that want to join us. We have, and we've invited them. And Harris,
Sarah said she's in at some point, not any point, but did you let know? We got peoples.
She came on a live with us briefly and said hello.
We've got Shelly. We've had Carrie for one time, I think, or something like that. And we have old Jenny with us all the time. She's our favorite person.
We like girls on here, and they're allowed to like sci-fi as well because we're modern men. That we allow women to like the things we like.
Just not allowed to say bad things about it.
Yeah. No, they can't they're not allowed to like football though because they can't understand it. So bless them. And they can't park either. But other than that, women can do anything men can do.
Well, see, when it comes to football, I think I'd actually rather watch women's soccer / football than men's.
Women's football is way better. I was just here having a here and my wife's.
And it's cheaper to get a ticket. You can get a season ticket a lot cheaper.
Normally, when I say stupid sexist things, my wife's got like radar for it. She goes, Jamie's saying something stupid again.
Women's sports do not have the corruption that men's sports has, which is the financial corruption.
True. Women's basketball is way better than men's basketball, but basketball is a stupid sport and shouldn't be on TV anyway. But it's
they always televise netball over basketball.
It's just netball. Yeah, it's just netball.
Yeah.
And women's beach volleyball is awesome because there's rules about how big the shorts are allowed to be, and it's freaking great. You just know a bunch of men did that. I've got an idea for a rule. The shorts are not allowed to be more than 3 inches.
The aerodynamics aren't good enough.
On a beach, and women normally would wear bikinis on a beach at the time.
Exactly. So there's got to be rules. We've got to, where would we live if we didn't have enough rules?
Hey, men could have to wear speedos for all we know.
It's terrible. It's netball. Women's basketball is actually netball. So I don't know. You Americans are just weird.
You know what I want to see more of? Women's fencing.
Fencing?
Fencing.
Building fences.
No, fencing, as in sword play. I mean,
Imagine that. It'd be all wonky.
if you've ever watched fencing in the Olympics, it seems like the women are much more savage than the men. The men are just so, oh my God, I don't want to risk the point. The women just go,
Well,
and,
And we all know that women
sword,
can't
and they're
fight
so
against
light
Sapphire
and
lightsaber,
agile.
so
It's
sword
fun
bam.
to watch.
Yeah, there's that old joke, though, isn't there, about how if women were in charge, there'd have only ever been one war, and we'd have all. I would never. I've got in between two men fighting, and then we just go, guys, come on, calm down a bit. Let's go get a beer, and we all go, yeah, okay, let's go get a beer. Two women fighting, you just leave them too, because you ain't getting involved in that, because they will scratch your damn eyes out. I'm sorry. When women fight, they fight.
Yeah.
But that's because they know they can get away with it because a man's not just going to turn around and hit them. If they
I think that was true about 20 years ago. I'm not sure it's true so much anymore.
Yeah.
I think the idea of being like gentlemanly has gone out the window nowadays. But
yeah,
it's just,
that's why some of the best scenes in some films is when there's a woman fighting another woman or a woman fighting a guy, and the guy's holding back, and this other guy just comes along and just goes,
yeah,
and that's it. Fight's over.
But anyway,
some of the best scenes. I can't even remember what it was in, but it was the best scene in whatever show I was watching. This guy just goes up to this woman and goes, "I'm not putting up with that." Boom.
I do feel like we should put a disclaimer on whether we are joking, and this channel is not actually.
Well, I am joking, but that is a show that was actually on, and I just can't remember what it was.
Yeah,
I love Xena Warrior Princess.
I fucking love that show. It was much better than Hercules.
Yeah, Calypso was my favorite character.
Hercules just sucked ass.
Yeah, it did. Lucy Lawless was Xena Warrior Princess was much better.
I was about to say, what was the last thing Kevin Sorbo did? But he's done like 40 different like Christian indie movies in the last probably 3 months.
He's a neo-Christian conservative.
He does like Christian Hallmark now.
Yeah. It's awful. Except it would be. I don't think they'd get away with it on Hallmark, to be honest. Because
is that a niche now that is Christian?
I think it's always been a niche, and then that God's Not Dead movie made it a larger niche, and now Kevin Sorbo's riding on the coattails of it.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember Abraham Lincoln, zombie fighter or whatever?
Vampire Hunter?
Vampire Hunter. Yeah. We need to have one of those, Jesus as Vampire Hunter,
While I was in bed, I watched Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Crook just goes around beating up vampires and werewolves and just,
It was awesome. It was just vampire.
Working the Underground Railroad. I think we need one of those.
Yeah.
That was Anthony Mackie, like pre MCU Anthony Mackie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Great.
Really, really good film. It's just one of those films you have to turn your brain off. Just turn your brain off. But actually, they did it really well because it wasn't silly. They sort of did the vampire hunter thing. It's only because it was Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
It was sort of like, well, this is going to be stupid. But actually, if you just turn your brain off from that bit, it's awesome.
I love the shit out of it.
I never watched Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, but I feel like it had that same kind of premise.
Yeah. I mean, especially if, like me, you grew up in the South, there was all sorts of tropes that most people didn't get or understand or didn't even see that was represented in that movie, especially from, the Civil War and the Underground Railroad. Genius. Just fucking genius.
And vampires.
And the final scene on the bridge is
the
amazing.
only thing missing from Bridgerton is vampires.
Oh, would that just not be capital? Yes.
That would be Pride and Prejudice and vampires in a show.
Yeah, there should be werewolves in Bridgerton because we've got Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, we've got Pride and Prejudice zombies, werewolves in Bridgerton.
I think werewolves and black sails. I think in pirates. I think werewolves and pirates is what we need. That's what we need.
Just wet dogs. Trying to swim, trying to catch up to the pirate ship.
Be like those old animated shows like that D'Artagnan with the dogs as the three musketeers.
D'Artagnan was ace. I used to love the Three Musketeers with D'Artagnan. Dogtagnan. Did you guys get that in the US? Dogtagnan and the Three Muskehounds.
No.
It wasn't Musketeers, it was the Muskehounds. It was ace. Oh, I love that. our TV
Could
was
they
so much better.
replace Chevy Chase, Martin Short, and Steve Martin? Is the question.
The Three Amigos.
The Three
I was watching
Muskehounds.
something.
Can they
Yeah, I
outdo
was
them?
watching something recently, and it was a bunch of interviews from when the Three Amigos came out, and it was slated. Everyone said it was awful. Nobody would watch this shit. Bridgerton Hounds. And I'm like, God, they got that wrong. It was two famous movie critics from like the 90s on an interview with Chevy Chase, and Chevy Chase was sat there, and they just slagged the Three Amigos off for like 20 minutes. And I'm like,
Siskel and Ebert. Siskel and Ebert.
it would have been them, yeah. They're not famous here, but yeah, a little fat guy and a tall, skinny guy.
Big Hawking, yeah.
But
Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert.
and I just thought it was hilarious because Chevy Chase is there going, "Come back to me when you've made a movie." It's just like, what? But yeah, Three Amigos. I watched that when I was in bed as well.
Well, you did you get any of the new Three Amigos in? Catching up for the new season coming soon?
What are you talking about now?
Because Selena Gomez took over Chevy Chase's role as the third amigo, and now they just live in a New York apartment building and chase murders only in that building, of course, nowhere else.
Well, Selena Gomez is going back to Waverly Place.
Only
So-
murdered in the building.
Which they're doing more of.
Yeah.
And by the way, Steve Martin has a really good documentary out on, I think it's Apple TV. Steve Martin documentary in 2 episodes, I think is the actual title for it, or something like that. Really good. I mean, I've always been a Steve Martin fan, but it was really good to see. It was a really good documentary. It wasn't. I mean, it was not. In some vein, it was glorification, but in some veins, it wasn't. It was just really informative, but it was entertaining to watch.
There started a bit of in the comments about cartoons back from when we were young. And yes, D'Artagnan and the Three Muskehounds was awesome. The Transformers and things like that were brilliant. And yes, Dungeons and Dragons was probably the best. But come on, people my age, what was it called?
Oh, screen's going out. There you go.
What was it called? Come on,
Flock and
get in
Seagull.
there and tell me.
Trapdoor?
No, trapdoor was excellent. Don't you open that trapdoor. There's something down there.
Yeah.
And we had a cartoon here because we did you guys get Danger Mouse?
Yes.
No, did we?
Danger Mouse, amazing Danger. We also got so we had Danger Mouse, we had Trapdoor. It was all made by the same company. David Beach just got it right. It was the Mysterious Cities of Gold.
Ooh.
It was a fantastic show. Oh, and there's one even better than that. What was the one that was based in space and everyone had like bird helmets? I bet Dave knows because Dave's got a similar brain to me. They had thing and their ship used to break up into parts. Oh, come on! It was amazing. Space. Oh, I had it on the tip of my tongue. Invasion or something. Oh,
It wasn't Buck Rogers, was it? They had like a basic chicken character. I don't know.
no, they were based in space,
Right.
but they all had like He-Man and Red Dwarf. Battle of the Planets. Coco.
Yes.
Battle of the Planets was amazing. And I liked the puppet one as well. Terrorhawks. Terrorhawks was great. And they always had so much better theme tunes than nowadays. Films, they're crap nowadays. The theme tunes were so much better. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Captain Planet, all of these shows, the theme tunes were great.
Pokemon.
Pokemon. Piss off at
But
Pokemon.
the theme song is one of the best theme songs ever. Ever.
So one show that I really liked as a kid, it wasn't animated, but it was definitely a kids show every Saturday morning. That was Land of the Lost.
Yeah, I love that.
You got
Land of the Lost.
There was a pregnant silence there. Did you guys remember that? Okay. Hong Kong Phooey, yeah.
Hong Kong Phooey.
Also,
Yeah, that was
in America, we had HR Puff and Stuff, which was this show that had to have some element of LSD in the writing room. It was just it was just the most bizarre bad trip you could ever feed an impressionable child.
Yeah.
HR Puff Stuff.
Was
Where
TV
is he?
better?
Huh?
Right. Harris can't really answer this because he's only 12 years old. But was TV better when we were kids? Like Storm, not when you were kids, Storm, because it was all black and white and there's only
We
one
barely
TV
had,
channel.
we didn't have radio.
And the TV
We
was
had
like that.
We had
Right.
animated space. Yeah.
Yeah. But Melvin,
back when we had Fraggle Rock and stuff like that, even though we've got a new Fraggle Rock now.
Back to Fraggle Rock. Dad Fraggle Rock.
Johnny and Scott are friends.
He-Man, Thundercats. All these shows that were just so much better. Or am I looking back and it was rose-coloured testicles?
Hey, we even had that Star Wars spin-off animated series, Droids, remember?
We had the Ewoks. It's the Ewoks. Which somebody generally had a go at me and called me a liar and said I'd made it up. That there was a fucking Ewoks cartoon. I sang him the theme tune. Don't fucking make it up, I Googled it.
I think people also forget that there was an Ewoks Star Wars movie series as well.
Yeah.
The two movies, but it exists. Part of the universe.
Animaniacs. That's more
Hey,
modern.
you know what?
And anyone who hasn't watched the Ewok Adventures, they're just not a true Star Wars fan in my eye. You know.
Yeah. Hollywood
Sorry,
special
that
in the
keeps coming up nowadays. You know, ever since Acolyte started, it keeps popping up.
Batman
in
animated
places.
series.
People putting that.
Hey, Laura, I think Jay is obsessed with my testicles. I can't tell. I've got a really warm feeling down there.
My own testicles. I'm obsessed with all
Tailspin.
testicles.
I used to love Tailspin when I was younger.
Tailspin.
Yeah.
One thing I've done, so back when I was in the hospital and sickly earlier this year, I spent a lot of time just downloading and
With your infected penis.
with my infected penis.
The boner infection.
The boner infection. It wasn't. So anyway, what was I going to say? I got so distracted by boner penis. Oh yes, I spent a lot of time watching a lot of 70s and 60s cartoon shows.
Oh, cool.
And the thing that the big difference between like then and now that I see is they seem to be the ones that earlier they had shows like Johnny Quest and also ones like Scooby-Doo that were, I don't want to say Scooby-Doo was science oriented, but is logic oriented. Johnny Quest had a lot of science in the show, science disguised as entertainment. And I don't see that in stuff from the 90s and the aughts. It seems like that's missing. And it seems like it's the general trend of not to include anything sciencey in a lot of.
Well, why would they? Because they're all going to grow up and sit behind a computer in an office somewhere anyway. At least that's what they're all going to want when they grow up.
Yeah, but I think they're not giving them a chance to decide or to learn about science or understand, early scientific thought, like, oh, this is how you make a decision, and God knows there's not a lot of people. There's some people in America these days that need decision-making skills. Trust me.
I missed the thing at the end of He-Man. You know when He-Man would come on at the end and he would tell you a thing. And don't forget, kids, if somebody comes up to you and offers you sweet, don't touch his penis. See you next week. And then he'd run off.
They do that with Mask as well back in the day as well. Mask had that little thing before the episode started where they would like, do not plug too many extension cables in or it'll.
Yeah.
And then you'd watch the episodes.
Yeah,
all these kids would be traumatized. They're like, what the I just watch?
I used to love that. They don't do that anymore. They should have little life lessons at the end of each episode.
Yeah.
And, they do loads of memes with the He-Man one now for taking the piss. But yeah, I love that. I miss that. I don't know, man. But I think there's an element of its rose-coloured spectacles, we'll say it properly this time. That you look back when like my knees and my back worked. It was that little window of my life that and you look back and again, I honestly think music died in like 1998. My music collection is basically 1998 and like Mumford and Sons, and that's pretty much it.
Robotech was awesome. I loved the Robotech.
Robotech was great. But you know, it's just like there's that bit of your life, I think, when what you love is and who you are becomes solid sort of thing. And like 14 to 21, 22 sort of area. And maybe not cartoons, because cartoons is before that, but Voltron.
Voltron sucked. Gundam rules.
Voltron to me always sounded like, does your penis not work? Do you need Voltron? And you're like, you get a penis screen. Even when I was like 5 or 6 years old watching Voltron, I thought, why are they trying to sell me a penis screen?
Sequest, Danny.
I love Sequest.
King
The first
Moody.
season, you love the first season, you don't love Sequest. You love the Earthworm Jim. He's having lots of fun. Earthworm Jim. Going da da da. The game was brilliant as well. We're never getting
Citizen said G.I. Joe Pasta, but evidently I'm not reading that right.
Yeah, go to patreon.com and see all my videos that I'm doing at the moment, unedited. So you can watch me go in.
And he can quote the entirety of the boys and not get dinged.
Yeah, I can say whatever I like on Patreon, actually. Our good mate Chaz now edits my videos, and I do feel sorry for him because he has to edit all my crap.
He's gonna be editing everything. It's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah.
So a little different. YouTube memberships now get everything early, and Patreon is completely unedited videos, so you get a little bit out of everything, which is good.
Yeah.
But the unedited videos are hilarious. So check them out.
Well, they can be a little boring, but then occasionally I do say something really random, and it's quite funny because I don't know if you noticed this, guys. I don't script my videos. I just talk about. I just say stuff. And sometimes that's gold because sometimes something will come out of my head I've never even thought about. And then, but most of it though is by commercial Mars. And most of it though is me going, words, fucking words. Or the 5 minutes of me going, what is that fucking thing with that fucking, oh, there's 2 Stargate videos coming up as well. And I've made a mistake. I've made quite a big mistake in one of them.
Let us know. We can make it not so
well.
mistaken.
If we do the live video, I'll message you. But basically, at one point, I say I don't know who. That I said there's a partner working on this guy, and I say I don't know who it is, but I do. So
Jerk.
no, I'm not allowed to tell you.
All right.
I can tell you who the partner was before.
You got to do what Carrie says.
Hit that like button, people.
I don't know if y'all have seen this yet. Chaz was hard at work at making this one. Wait, scrubbing through videos, good. I don't know. He was making this one. Tell me if y'all like our new little like, subscribe, and all that.
I did catch that was really clever. I saw that yesterday, I think.
StreamYard doesn't let us do it, but it'd be nice just to bring it up where we can still be talking here and just kind of like pop it up.
That was cool. Oliver just said there a mistake for more comments. I do that occasionally, but no, not in this case. I just have completely forgotten that my memory is not running. I'm not running on all cylinders at the moment, but I'd forgotten something very obvious that I knew. Yeah. After the third zap, I didn't know that. That's excellent.
Yeah, we made sure of that. It was fun.
Very clever. Very clever.
It was fun. Which the boy is on, I think, middle of season 6 of Stargate for the first watch through ever. And I think he's going to start doing some Stargate watch parties throughout 7 and then Atlantis, so on and so forth.
Cool.
So, that'll be fun.
There needs to be a mass cultural thing going out globally. Everyone watch Stargate SG-1 now.
Immediately. We actually do genuinely need people watching. I will do another marathon video at some point. I will do another marathon video at some point.
It's like Lost in Space. I can't understand why someone wouldn't watch Lost in Space.
I've just finished watching that. It's really good.
The new one or the old one?
I think it was Sarah actually that suggested we do a live where we'll pick the worst and the best episode from each season of Stargate SG-1, and then I'll do a marathon where I watch them. I think we will do that at some point, but I'm probably going to do a Firefly marathon at some point. I think.
That'd be fun.
Well, at least that's not going to go as long as SG-1.
Well, I'm not sure I can do another 18 hours thing. Secular Monks just asked that I am not allowed to fly for 6 months. So I can tell you that, guys. So I cannot go to San Diego Comic-Con. I did make a donation to charities in our name, £400 each to with the money, like I said. So over here, I did to Help the Heroes, which is a military charity, and in the United States, I did something. What's your main charity called for veterans?
Books for Soldiers.
POWMIA. Was it the other way around? I can't remember.
No, it was something for soldiers. No, something for troops. Something for the troops or something.
For me?
No,
there's a lot of them. There's Wounded Warrior. There's something for the troops. I don't remember what it is though.
Something like that, anyway. But I did it like 3 months ago, so I may have forgotten. But yeah, something for the troops, isn't it?
Next couple days.
As soon as they're done. But yeah, so it should be good. The stuff with Stargate coming on at the moment. I've got some more stuff to talk about really with that, but we'll have a couple little follow-up videos because I'm hearing little drips and drabs at the moment, but I'm hearing a lot of like contrary rumors, and I've suddenly realized I'm hearing rumors from 6 months ago. You know, kind of like it goes through the grapevine a little bit.
Yeah. Telephone.
Yeah. So I'm getting the odd rumor. I'm like, that's the opposite to what I've just been told by somebody else, and I'm realizing it's because they're talking about where we were 6 months ago, not where we are now. So I'm slowly getting through it, but we're getting there slowly anyway. I think I'm getting a picture of what's going on slowly.
Good or bad picture?
That's the next question.
It's pretty much seems to be all going back to Plan A. Amazon, in a nutshell, Amazon seemed to freak out over the movie plan because everything that went to the cinema bombed massively, like sort of end of last year. So they sort of had a bit of a panic attack, but they seem to have calming down. I think there's an element of as well that they've realised that a movie doesn't. If a movie breaks even at the cinema, it's good. That's fine because there isn't the DVD sale anymore. But films do really well when they put them behind a paywall, unlike Amazon and what have you. So, so there's a different model. So they seem to be going back to the movie plan, which is it's the both of these videos are on Patreon right now. With me unedited.
Check it out.
Right, I'm going to watch it. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, go check it out.
We'll wait until after the stream.
Patreon.com/sidetrack. But what we've basically been saying for a year, with during the strikes, they decided they were going to wait for all their studios to come online, which we've always said would be the summer this year. That seems to be what's going on. I mean, Spaceballs has been announced because that's going to be filmed at their main headquarters, which I've never forgot the name of. Culver Studios, is it? That's going to be there.
I was going to say if they're going to if they're announcing that they're going to start, if they're saying that they're going to start working on something like Spaceballs 2, then hopefully they'll start moving on something like Stargate.
Well, we've got to remember that's the first MGM project that they've actually announced from the archive sort of thing. This is the first one, and we talked about that 2.5 years ago. We said they were going to do this. So I mean, this shows how slow Amazon. Really.
As long as they've got a dancing alien on a counter, it's fine.
Obviously. I love that movie. I'm half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend. It's one of my favourite films. But I think I think we'll get. I don't think we'll get an announcement till towards the end of this year myself, but we'll see.
That like it makes the most sense, sadly.
Yeah, you never know because these things can move quickly. They might just announce they're working on it. But if we've always said they've got to have those three things. They've got to have a star. They've got to have a director. They're probably going to have a lead producer. They're probably going to want. With Spaceballs, that's what they did. We know who the actor is. We know who's producing it, and we know who the lead star is. It's exactly the same thing. I think they'll want to do that with Stargate as well. But as far as I know, at least two of those things are lined up already with the production company that's the partner. And the production company is basically the producer. It's not a big production company. It's the producer. You know, like The Boys and things like that. Is it Kimke? Is one of the big producers who does that? Kimke or Kim? Something like that. And he's got his own production company. A Penguin and a Parker would have been similar. They wouldn't have actually been making anything, but their production company wouldn't do all the work. So yeah, there's a smaller production company that's a partner at the moment. I can't tell you who it is, so I'm not supposed to know.
Well, good. I mean, that's a pulse. That's what we need. We need a pulse in general for Stargate, and that means it's kicking.
Well, like I said, the guy I said it was never in danger that it wasn't going to happen. It's just how much of a priority Amazon are putting on it, and they've not been. It's not a big priority for them. They've got other projects they want to do first, and that's the key. They
still getting that the studio space is still an issue as well.
Yeah, because it'll be much cheaper to produce it once they've got their things. So they want to save money. Yeah. But from what I'm told and what I understand, it's not. It's not like their first priority. Stargate. They still want to sort bloody James Bond out. They still haven't done that.
They should stop with that. They should wait with James Bond. Wait.
Yeah.
Because if there's too much DEI put into James Bond, then it's going to tank anyway. I mean, look at Rings of Power.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah.
But they have been looking at James Bond for a while now, and with all the love and the talk about when Aaron Taylor Johnson was announced, leaked, or whatever you'd like to call it, at the end of the day, I mean, everyone was excited for that. I don't think I heard anybody say, "Oh no, this can be awful." I think everybody was pretty pumped. So I don't know why they wouldn't.
Ryan in particular, he was so good in Bullet Train.
So good. I guess Craven might be there.
Guess what I'm doing.
Round 2.
Oh goodness! Look at that.
Do you have the completed one with you right now?
It's upstairs and it weighs a ton.
Never mind.
I'll get it next time. But yeah. But that's my next model going. Can you tell what it is yet? Stormy, come on, mate. You must know what it is. And it's not actually accurate. It's the Enterprise D, but why is it not accurate, Melvin?
Because it's not meant to be.
No, what is wrong?
It's not licensed, is it?
Yeah, this is licensed, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. But there's limitations on the Lego. There should be a dot in the middle.
Mm-hmm. It's faulty. Throw it away.
That's wrong. But anyway. Guys, I've got to go because I'm going to go make some tea, and I promised the wife I'd only do an hour.
Well, you broke that promise now, didn't you? Didn't you?
Yeah, 20. But that's
not by too bad, thankfully. Usually we'll keep you a lot longer, but nice.
Exactly. Guys, thank you. I'm really, really glad we got back to this, and I can't wait to see you hopefully next week. And don't let Stormy say anything too bad while I'm gone.
Well, we'll try. No promises on that one.
I feel like that's a challenge. Challenge accepted. Jamie doesn't have to be.
He's probably peeing right now.
Will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
I got the chicken out and at one point I thought I was going to have recently. At one point I thought I was going to have a catheter at one point when I wasn't very well, and I generally thought I can't tell everybody on Sidetrack that because I just think that they want me to stick a Sidetrack logo on and try and sell the damn thing. So, but I didn't need it, so it was all good.
Catheter and butt plugs.
Thanks, guys, and everybody in the Joe Citizen, everybody, Laura, everybody. Thanks. Thank you so much. I will see you really soon. I'm out of here.
Doodle Jay. Wow, am I glad he's gone.
Now we can talk shit.
Now I'm outnumbered. Bye.
Well, shoot. What else y'all feeling? Y'all want to talk a little House of the Dragon, maybe, or
I haven't gotten around.
Who hated that episode?
You didn't.
Last
You
week.
didn't what?
Who hated last week's episode of House of the Dragon?
I don't know. I liked it.
Exactly.
I liked it. Oh, okay. I was like, where are we going? No, I loved it. I thought it was excellent.
Yeah.
It's good storytelling.
So do you think it'll be as well received? Do you think we will receive Rings of Power season 2 episode 1 the same way, or do you think it'll be opposite?
I think it will be significantly better than the first seasons. I don't know if it's going to be the same reaction per se. Somewhere in the middle, somewhere in that little area.
This is because that's my argument. This is the DEI done right, House of the Dragon. DEI done badly, Rings of Power, Doctor Who. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. So,
yeah, no, as story should always prevail over anything else. If its story is not the thing that's coming first, the story might be a little lackluster.
I have to clarify it again for some people because I don't have a problem with DEI altogether. It's DEI done badly that I have a problem with. And that is why I target Rings of Power, Doctor Who, and, well, I'm avoiding Acolyte.
Well, okay,
It is done badly compared to House of the Dragon, where you see that it's done really well. I mean, it's not exactly Bridgerton, but
the Rat
which is
Man.
not done well, by the way. As a Brit who likes history,
or the Ratman, David. Am I just blanking on something? Ratman and House of Dragon. Does that ring a bell, Melvin?
no, the Ratman is in the Tracker and the Acolyte.
Okay, I see.
That's what I'm assuming. Is that right?
All of a sudden, we cross the streams. It's sounding very dangerous here.
Oh, it's in House of the Dragon. David said House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon? Ratman? Oh, yeah.
I'm with you.
It's just as much. Well, it's not as visually graphic as Game of Thrones used to be, though. We could hear stuff, but we couldn't see it. That's the difference.
Which is better a lot of times. Obviously, Game of Thrones kind of got a little, violent porn and shit like that a little bit sometimes. But
I mean,
it
in Game of Thrones, I literally see someone's head get popped like a watermelon by hand. So you actually literally see it just go.
Yeah, I mean that was pre-boys kind of stuff right there, and they're not superheroes, so it's just crazy.
Yeah.
They're just doing it. So we like House of the Dragon. I think that's pretty easy. Is there anything like y'all are pumped for coming out? Just to end it up, we'll probably end at like 1:30 if that's good with y'all. Or hour 30, not 1:30 another time. But what are y'all like pumped for? There's a bunch of good stuff coming out actually, and it seems like there's not a whole bunch of stuff that's great right now, but there is a bunch of stuff that's coming out over the next couple months. That sounds
one.
Silo for me. Silo's on that list. I'm very curious about the next season. Silo. There's another one that was coming out. I can't remember it off the top of my tongue or top of my head, but it was there's a lot that's coming out. I think it's going to be entertaining. But yeah, for me, I think Silo is number one that I'm looking for.
Silo. Are you pumped for Alien Romulus?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Oh, that trailer was so awesome. I
Mm.
don't know how many times I've rewatched it. Almost as much as the teaser, I think.
And I like Kaylee Spaney a lot. I think she's going to be a class of up and comers too, or she's going to be like the sneak. Her and Saoirse Ronan weren't included in that class of up and comers. Whenever was it like Variety or the Hollywood Reporter or whoever put out that article a couple months back or weeks back now, whatever it was. I don't know why Saoirse Ronan particularly wasn't there, but frickin' Kaylee Spaney needs to be there too. Both of them are going to be just as prevalent as everybody on there. Easy peasy.
Oh yeah.
But Alien Romulus. I know we talked a little Yellowstone earlier. Y'all gonna watch Kevin Costner's new movies, Horizons? Part
Yeah,
one.
I'm sure I'll get around to watching it. But this whole like summer movie season, I haven't seen a lot of. Maybe the tent poles haven't arrived yet, but I haven't seen a lot that really seems interesting. I mean, the last thing that got me interested enough to go to the theaters was Oppenheimer and Barbie. You know, and it's just not nothing's really grabbing me.
I saw that comment. I'm not gonna pull it up, but it's funny. Horizon doesn't look good to me. It doesn't look great to me either, but Costner is amazing when it comes to the director's chair as well. So I hope he can do something with it. It's just a story that's been told a lot of times over in a lot of different ways, I guess. But we'll see. Fingers crossed for the guy. Oh, I was about to ask you. Did y'all see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes or Furiosa? Because those are both great movies that are recent, just not huge as they could and probably wish they should be.
I haven't seen either. Again, like a lot of the movies, I just wait for them to come out streaming. You know, it's just I really hate going to the theaters these days. The crowds are so unruly. There's always somebody with a big Texas-sized bouffant sitting in front of me at the very last moment. And I'm just going to sit at home and eat my Orville Redenbacher like an opinionated old man and not wear pants.
We got to get an Alamo Draft House near you so you can just go sit and eat dinner and enjoy a movie. Those are the best places because it is a little unruly just because there are the lights and the food walking around, but nobody's talking.
I can see that. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, there was a place in San Francisco called the Kabuki Theater. It was owned by Sundance, and it was excellent. They had the top. They had several theaters. This theater complex in Japantown. There was just one that was like it had like a Michelin chef and make anything you wanted. It was just oh my god, it was amazing. You know, you had these the seats were just comfortable. Had to pull out airline style that popped out. It was just. Dinner theater I always really dig, but just the Texas bouffant has just got to go. I mean, never failed. Some lady with big, huge vertical hair would just sit right in front of me. And so anyway,
yeah.
I see people are talking about Bad Boys again in the chat, but I'm not as interested in Bad Boys as much as I am in Axel Foley, which comes out this week, by the way.
Oh, is that this week?
Not this week.
Is
it? It's a good week for some good, or a good couple weeks for some good things. Bad Boys, you'd like it. It's actually a good one. I liked the fourth one, the last one, but this one was even better, which was nice. This might be my second favorite Bad Boys movie after the original, honestly.
This is probably the only Bad Boys movie I'm not going to want to see, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm just really not excited about Will Smith as an actor anymore. I could give two shits.
I'd rather rewatch, was it Bad Girls, the spin-off? Was it Bad Girls that they called it? I can't remember what they called it for some reason.
Oh no, it wasn't Bad Girls. It was something in LA, right? Something like that. Because it was Martin Lawrence's younger sister in the movie. Something like that. Okay. 4 is better than 3. I agree. I'm with you. Doing 2 is great. Ooh. We were just talking about Bullet Train a second ago. David Leitch just put out a new movie, Fall Guy. Did y'all see anything about that, or did y'all go watch it? Nobody freaking watched it, but it's so good.
The only thing I'm going to go and see in the theater is probably going to be Romulus.
Romulus or Deadpool and Wolverine?
I'm not sure about Deadpool Wolverine. The hype's gone for me for that movie. So
it's diminishing a little bit, but I still think it's gonna be fun. Hopefully, we can get some sidetrack representation at San Diego Comic-Con still. We're trying to figure that little bit out. And if that's the case, that happens to come out that same weekend. So that'd be like some fun little video to make or something like that. But come on, MGM. Keep the sidetrack representation there. You know, the Beverly Hills knockoff. Stormy. Speaking of Netflix and Star Trek, 8 days more till season.
If anything was a knockoff, I think Bad Boys is a bit too much of a knockoff of Miami Vice, to be honest.
Or Lethal Weapon, even honestly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What would be your favorite out of all those? Bad Boys, Lethal Weapon, some Axel Foley. What are you feeling?
That genre?
Yeah, out of that general, just like genre.
I mean, you know, I think the original Miami Vice was King Modi of that genre. You know?
Right.
Oh, especially when they got that limited edition Testarossa to drive around in. The one that had the oversized. Do you remember it had the oversized wing mirrors on the doors?
Yeah, it just looked like so.
It had like lorry mirrors on it or something. It was outstanding. And it was. I swear it's a limited edition one because I remember they're usually really small mirrors on the corner and that's sort of something that stood out to me. It was like this lorry fucking things on the side of the doors. It's crazy.
We need cool stuff like that again.
I mean,
even like nowadays it's considered a really bad car, but at the time it was outstanding. It was new. It was beautiful.
What do y'all feel about this? Sarah asked, she just stated, I'm starting to get tired of Ryan Reynolds' act. I'm with her 1,000%, honestly. That's my biggest gripe with this.
I'm with that as well, because I think a lot of the time Ryan Reynolds is self-inserting a lot of the time, but the thing is, it didn't used to be that type of self-inserting that we were sick of. But now he's getting older. We know he can be a serious actor. We've seen him as a serious actor, right?
Yeah.
So we know that he doesn't have to play that every single time. It's just that every time it seems that we're getting it. So it is getting a bit tiresome, but he's being serious again.
His box office seems like it eats it up. I mean, you know, I think he's really got stereotyped into the role of Van Wilder, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of people see that. I mean, they go to the movies to see that swarmy smartassism. I know I do. But yeah, there was a really good. Oh God, it was a movie with him. He's playing the bodyguard, a straight up bodyguard.
Hitman's Bodyguard.
Hitman Bodyguard. Yes, I thought he was excellent.
All of those were really good films.
Little bit of swarminess, but he was mostly serious, you know. But it's a really good action film, and an action film, not really something you associate with him, but he was excellent in it. The movie was really good.
There's another one. He wasn't in it for long, but Life.
Yeah.
Well,
literally
the one in theaters right now is that Imaginary Friends movie, that John Krasinski wrote. It's not your typical Ryan Reynolds at all, which is great. And it's nice, and it feels fresh again, which is good because Ryan Reynolds is a good actor. Do you remember? It wasn't Buried. What was it when he was buried alive in that one movie? It was just a brief 80-90 minute movie, but it is intense, and he's in a coffin and he's running out of air. But it's Ryan Reynolds at his best.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's what I mean. When he's being serious, he's really good. He's outstanding.
I mean, he's legitimately, I think, an Oscar-worthy performer.
He's all round an Oscar-worthy actor, all round.
In a big way. I just don't think he's utilized that, and he's made some buku banking bucks in the last few years while just kind of doing his act. But hey, if you want to act again, give us something good. I like some good acting. Come on. Without Die Hard, we wouldn't have Home Alone or Kindergarten Cop or Passenger 57 or Star Trek Next Generation, Starship Mines, Speed, Executive Decision, Air Force One, Under Siege. The list literally doesn't stop. And Die Hard is great.
But without Under Siege, you wouldn't have had Under Siege 2 which would have been an advantage in comparison. I mean, Under Siege 2 compared to Under Siege 1. Worst sequels ever?
Hey, Speed to Speed 2 isn't all that great either, speaking of.
Yeah, but don't forget, even Speed 2 was originally written to have Keanu in as well.
That's
But they
true.
rewrote it because he refused, because they couldn't afford him.
Yeah.
But they could still afford Sandra Bullock.
She
They
took
just
all
couldn't
the.
afford Keanu.
She's like, I got my own starring
He wants
thing.
to do another one. He
I got
wants to do a
Now
third
I'm
one,
out.
don't he? Keanu wants to try and get Sandra Bullock back to do another movie.
Well, was that one of the time periods of Keanu's life where it was full? There was some really bad shit going down during that
I think
time.
there was a lot of stuff coming out as well because
I mean, I can't really blame him. He's not beholden to make many of these movies.
I know
think
he was in quite a few movies in that period, wasn't he? As well, so he might have been really busy as well.
really, I can't remember when. I mean, he suffered greatly, and I know there's a time he.
When
was what?
when did Point Break come out?
Hey,
That was before Speed. I know that, but I can't remember
Yeah, because
how.
Speed was 94.
Was it 90?
Point Break sounds like 90.
Point Break was
91.
91.
Okay.
So it was filmed in 90 and released in 91. So
Speed
right.
1994.
Got to find the way to be right.
The what?
Speed was 1994.
Mm-hmm. I heard rumors about a Demolition Man 2 film. Have you heard anything?
Yes, I actually have. I did some work on the original, believe it or not. And the Hall of Violence, those little full-size maquettes of people and all that was one thing I was working on. But I've heard that is in the works for a sequel. But I've heard of fantasy casting for it.
Do you think it's been too long for Demolition Man 2?
If you do
There are
anything,
some films where
correctly,
they've outlived their sequel time frame to me.
Well, I mean, I think it probably the things I've heard about is a reboot of Demolition Man instead of like Demolition Man 2 is just a complete reboot for a whole new because you have to if you're watching Demolition Man, you're probably on Tubi or something, because it's back in the past.
Yeah.
What was that? The 80s?
Or you've got it on your non-HD DVD.
Or your VHS, more likely.
Oh yeah, or the VHS. Yeah. I don't know. I think VHS was starting to get phased out around then, if I remember correctly. It was starting to be getting more DVDs and CDs. Cassettes were like kind of disappearing around that period. I think. I know my uncle used to be proud of his DVD player. It was like the first one he had ever seen, and we had ever seen, and it was like the size of his entire hi-fi system. He could literally put his entire system that could play 2 cassettes, a cartridge of CDs, a record, and 2 speakers on top of the DVD player. It was that big.
Oh wow, that's fun though.
Well, it was insane. And I asked him, I said, "Oh, what DVDs you got for it?" He said, "None. There's none for sale yet." So he spent hundreds of pounds to buy a DVD player, and there's no one selling DVDs. So he wouldn't have anything to put in it.
Those were the days.
Oh yeah.
Joe Citizen's asking, "What is our favorite Stargate movie?" Obviously it's the original movie for me.
Children of the
But
Gods.
if I had to pick one of the two of
Children
the
of the
TV
Gods.
movies,
If it's not if we're not talking about the original one, I guess Ark of Truth, maybe.
I think I'm going
I'd say Children of the Gods.
Truth. Well, okay, Children of the Gods was cut into a film, and that I guess.
And they did actually have a few extra things in there as well.
Well, that's true. That's true.
That's
so
a
it's
good.
literally.
I think. Oh, you know what? I'm going Continuum. Honestly, I did like the way they ended it. It didn't have anything to do with the Ori or anything, but I did like it was just a succinct kind of thing that felt very Stargate-y. But I still, both of the TV movies are just a little weak, in my opinion. I wish they had just a little more meat to them. But Stargate the movie.
I really hope that if there's a new series that comes out and it's in a post-disclosure world, I think there's a lot of storytelling elements there that's available that we could go through. Like, the Stargate's effect on mankind, not through the eyes of the Ori or anybody else. I thought that'd be an interesting premise. I think there's a lot of ways you can go.
I like that, but I also like it in like a post-disclosure world where they still don't know about this, where your average Joe has no idea what a Stargate is. All they've disclosed is, hey, we have spacecraft and we are traveling through space and there are other species, and kind of disclose that aspect, and then don't say, yeah, we do have this one magic portal that can kind of do whatever the hell we want it to, and then bring us wherever we want to.
I can see that. I mean, in the job that I do, and I tell people about it, they know it's all a surprise. They don't. I mean, God knows. I mean, commercial space is a thing. It's reported on a lot. Lots of presence on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. And if I start talking, most times, if I start talking to somebody about it, they have no idea what I'm talking about. They have no idea what Starliner is. They have no idea. These great vehicles that's literally taking us out into space routinely. They heard about Apollo. It seems like that's the end of their spaceflight knowledge. And it's like, in this world,
Like,
satellites,
and that's all I know.
too much of the headlines.
What was that?
I feel like SpaceX is taking too much of the headlines, if that makes sense. We're not hearing about Virgin or any of the others that much anymore. It's all SpaceX. Right. Oh, they launched another test launch. Okay.
Well, I mean, I work for Virgin Galactic, and I will admit, SpaceX is impressive in terms of their launch cadence. God, we would love to have that kind of launch cadence. We will. We'll get there eventually. But they're doing some amazing things. And I can, Virgin Galactic, we're building a new spaceship. That's about the only thing that's a press release.
They got one of your space states, one of the Virgin space star bases. I guess we call them. Are we calling them star bases now? Just an airfield that's
made. Well, Starbase is that new city that's being built by Elon down in South Texas.
Yeah, well, we got one in Cornwall in the UK, in New Quay, I believe.
Spaceport. Yeah. The Spaceport in Cornwall. Spaceport. Yeah.
My opinion, a spaceport should be in space, but that's besides the point. That just makes sense to me. A spaceport being in space, but orbital shuttles maybe, as well, that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, I could literally get in a car, drive a few hours, and I'm there. Right, and I could watch aircraft like modified C-47s. No, Boeing 747. Sorry, C-47. What was I doing? I was thinking about the RAF base. That's the other direction. But yeah, I can drive a few hours, and I can literally watch a modified 747 take off with a rocket under its ring.
Yeah.
So
I'm just wanting the other side of my brain is like, has spaceflight become so mundane no one even cares?
But is that a good thing in a way? Because then it becomes almost.
Well, there's nothing mundane about it.
Well, if it becomes like something that everybody knows and understands, and it just becomes an average and normal thing, maybe populating Mars one day wouldn't be such a hard thing. Maybe getting a bunch of people to the moon might be a little easier because it's like, oh, well, that's just another job. If it becomes a little more mundane, we're not going to be so, I guess, exasperated or scared or frightened or any of that, Maybe, hopefully. I don't know.
Maybe if there was more competition between the companies, that might have been who's got a more efficient rocket, who's got a faster rocket, who can get to the moon quickest. If there was something like that going on, kind of like, do you remember the Schneider? You probably remember hearing about the Schneider Cup.
Yeah,
it's like a World Cup for fastest airplane, right? Pre-World War II. Every plane would improve over the years because they want to get faster. So the competition is there, and then you get conflict. The competition is global, even more prevalent, right? So there's a constant competition. But nowadays, there's no competition to advance technology.
Well, I mean,
yes, Elon Musk is building starships and big heavies and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but he's probably another 10 years at least away from a manned flight, right?
Well, here's my whole thing about competition. So I work at Virgin Galactic. I've got friends that work at SpaceX. I got friends that work at Blue Origin, and none of us see the other in competition because our missions to space are completely different. What Musk is doing is completely different from what the guys over at Blue Origin is doing, and we want to be a space plane company. So if you watch, 2001 Space Odyssey, we want to be in after the primate scene, after they throw the bone up into space, you see a space liner with Pan Am on the side of it going to some sort of lunar orbit exchange station. That's who we want to be. But that's not who SpaceX is. SpaceX is heavy launch to Mars and any solid surface in the solar system. Blue Origin wants to build space stations and space habitats and space manufacturing. There is so many opportunities to space. It will be a very long time before any company is stepping on anybody else's toes. And I think Joe Sisson brought up another issue I wanted to talk about is Boeing's spaceship issues. The Starliner has a great many spaceship issues. And it's kind of getting into, this is my personal feeling, I'm not speaking for anybody, but it's starting to get a little bit dangerous. I mean, their thruster system is wonky. It's when it is engaged, it's firing randomly, and that's really dangerous for the ship if it's docked to the ISS or anywhere near the ISS. The space suits that the Starliner astronauts are wearing are not usable, as I understand it, in zero G. And so now they're trying to figure out, okay, we need a tug to just pull the thing away, pull the Starliner away from the ISS so it won't do any damage if they're trying to get it, into some sort of a re-entry configuration. So there's lots of problems. But yeah, the competition thing, if we were all going toward heavy launch, and I think it would be, but then there's going to be somebody else that's, we'll develop a space plane because no one's doing that. There's 1,001 things that people aren't doing yet. I mean, there's getting funding. There's like Firefly rockets, and there's Rocket Lab, and they're all filling in all these niches. But there's so many. It's almost an infinite number of niches to fill for space travel. And I don't think we're getting there anytime in my lifetime or any y'all's lifetime, because it's just an immense amount of work.
Which is exciting in a lot of ways because we can't even fathom some of the inventions and things people are going to have to come up to solve problems that, maybe this company's doing this and this company's doing that, and maybe they need to coordinate somehow.
But there could be some guy with something in his garage that could solve a fuel flow issue that's been causing problems for decades.
Yeah.
But there's no incentive for them to come forward because how's he going to know if it's going to work? He just built it on his workbench. It's just an idea that came to his head and he just decided to build it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he maybe he could afford a metal 3D printer and he's built it out of something like aluminium or something along those lines. Because he literally 3D printed the parts off, just like they're 3D printing ships off, right?
Oh, yeah. Literally, the guy that has, I think it's this, I don't know if it's a SpaceX contract or a contract with the government and SpaceX, whatever. The people that are supposed to be 3D printing the habitats on the moon and stuff, or Mars, whichever comes first. Whenever I grew up going to church, those two people literally went to church growing up, and now they're like in Austin and doing their whole thing. And I don't know, it's just cool.
Well, our last flight, Galactic 7, we had a group from UC Berkeley that was that built a new 3D printing, weightless 3D printing, where you don't need any gravity like on Earth or the moon. You can actually do it in orbit someplace. And it was quite genius. God, these guys were so young. They all looked 12 with PhDs. It killed me. But yeah, so they had a successful test in space aboard VMS Unity. But yeah, 3D printing, I mean, that's a whole other industry, weightless or low G 3D printing. I mean, that's a thing, and you're going to have that.
I mean,
Do you think
low
there's some
G
sort of
and no
tech
G
for-
manufacturing
I
is
remember
about
a guy
industry.
talking on, I think it was the UK Space Agency website has a video somewhere. I can't remember exactly where it is. But yes, we have a space agency. And no, we haven't launched anything. We built an entire new launch facility on an island off the coast of Scotland, but we haven't got any rockets to launch yet. But we built a place to launch them from. So it's good. But yeah, they actually have a thing where there's a guy, he's talking about how they can, how he's got a design that can build a wheeled space station. So the round one, I forget what they call it, the circular one. It can literally build it, and all you have to do is launch up the panels, and it can literally weld it all together in space, in orbit.
Yeah.
And it's his idea. He's tested it on small things on the ground, but obviously in space you've got, lack of gravity and other stuff that could interfere. But that sort of thing is an interesting concept to me. But do you think that's a more practical thing?
Yeah. Mr. KDW1 would like to hear progress about it on a space elevator. I know there are engineering plans, rough plans, not detailed drawings or anything, for a space elevator on Earth. If you've ever read the series Red Mars from Kim Stanley Robinson, I think you might agree with me that it's probably a space elevator is a really bad idea. Because if you have any engineering failures of the system, the return to Earth would be catastrophic for damn near everybody on Earth. Because that's a very tall structure, and if it loses its balance weight at the end, it just, as it falls towards Earth, it just starts to wrap around the Earth. Because the length of the elevator has to be to get stuff to orbit is several times the circumference of the Earth. So you're looking at, if you have any kind of catastrophic failure, you also have a lot of catastrophic death on Earth. We've already invented easier ways to get to orbit, especially with SpaceX. I mean, they're dirt cheap these days. I mean, they could deliver thousands and thousands of
What was that one that recently did a test, but something happened to their launch? So that thing, the spin launcher, was it that thing?
Spin launch, yes. Spin launch is literally down the road from where I work. It's about 40 miles an hour.
They have a catastrophic failure or something.
Well, it's still, they want. I don't know if it was catastrophic or it was just a regular experiment that had unwanted results.
Aye.
My opinion, the problem with the spin launch is, I mean, it'll get a projectile. Let me explain a little bit what it is for everybody else. So spin launch is like this round. It's just a round cylinder, and it slowly spins the payload. Slowly spins, and it's got like this launch tube up here, and as it slowly spins and spins and spins and spins, it finally releases right when it goes through the launch tube and it goes up into the air. Well, as a projectile, a big, bullet, I mean, it can do that spectacularly. The problem, I believe, comes from the side loading. So when it's spinning, there's all these forces, centrifugal forces going outwards. So if you have something sensitive like a satellite, that's going to be really hardcore crushing forces on the satellite, and it may not reach orbit because of those forces. So if you're a satellite company and need something put into space, build it normally that you would do a space satellite. That way, less mass. You need less fuel to keep it positioned in whatever orbit you need, and then just toss it to SpaceX, who's already solved the problem. But I mean, it's the spin launch is out there in the desert, and right now today, I don't think it's had any catastrophic failures. It's just had, I think, very launches with very unwanted results.
Okay. Well, Oliver is asking, isn't there a problem with the wheel-based artificial gravity with the force differential from your feet to your head at any size that we could physically build?
Yeah, because definitely that's an issue. There's all sorts of circulatory blood problems because if you have a point in space and you've got this little rotational mass here and you're standing on the top of the mass, you can actually feel the differential between there's more G's at your feet than there is your head, so all the blood is going to pool in your feet. Now,
but that's going to be a problem that any spin gravity system will have, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but as this distance grows. As that distance grows, it eventually goes away because then it becomes within the margin of error for a cardiac function. So there's definitely if it's I don't know, something like 30 meters across, that's going to be problematic. But if it's a 230 meters across the big spinning space station, it's not going to be that much of a change. So it's like the figure is the longer the distance squared, the less impact it has on the differential between blood flow in the head and feet.
Okay, we'll jump into an actual sciencey thing real quick, but Carrie did ask a fun little thing. Do any of y'all think that there's any structures on the dark side of the moon?
Unless the Chinese has landed something there, we don't know.
Or the Russians back in the day.
Or the Russians back. I mean, other than, I don't think there's anything extraterrestrial.
Other than the potential rover that was maybe launched, or other probe, something like that. Because I know there have been probes launched and landed on the dark side. But other than that, no structures or any kind.
Yeah, nothing like. I don't think there's any alien base.
Not yet, anyway, because it'll probably be safer for us to build on that side.
To litter it completely.
Okay, so we need to focus on teleportation. Travel, please.
Yes.
Kate transport, please. David, in just a second. Did I not see something? Oh, how long until human starship launch?
I'd say a couple of years.
I'd agree with you.
If you use the Falcon Heavy model, as soon as they got the Falcon rocket and rolling, man, they were launching off the Dragon capsules.
So 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 10.
I would say 2 to 3.
Ooh.
The biggest issue that Elon's going to have would probably be the FAA. That cadence is going to be,
especially considering that all the unexpected disassemblies or something. What's that? What he calls them?
Yeah, unscheduled disassemblies. Yeah. The ailerons or the wings of a Starship when it came back through wing entry held up very well. And there's a video on a YouTube channel called Everyday Astronaut where they're interviewing Musk. And before the launch, he's talking about how we've got this heat seal. It's going to protect the wings, and how that's going to be one of their big test points is how to stand up. And so, yeah, he found out. It's going to need more structure, and I think that's something they're already planning on.
Please.
I'd like to see some of the advancements for the heat shielding, the ceramics, in particular, compared to the space shuttles on NASA and stuff like that. Yeah. I know they're supposed to be very similar. I've seen someone that done a chemical breakdown on a YouTube video, and they checked out and they said it's really close, but there is a difference. And it's such a small difference, but it'll make a huge difference.
Yeah, it's a small difference, but when you're looking at the thermal impact, is huge. There's some material I really can't talk about, but and Virgin, everybody uses some sort of material. Theirs Starship really has to be awesomely robust because they're coming in at a very high speed. We're not. I think SpaceX has 2 kilns. One is in Titusville, Florida, and the other one is someplace at Starbase in Texas, where they make these they just stamp them out, and they're always looking for a better formula. or making them thicker or bigger or making the hex smaller or something. There's all sorts of experiments. And if you look at the close-ups of the Starship, you can see they're running different material samples all over the ship.
Yeah.
I don't know what. You just mentioned Everyday Astronaut. If y'all want to, just for a couple little shout outs real quick, if y'all want to keep up with stuff like this, obviously, first and foremost, go subscribe to Stormy Bear on SciWorks. It's not as active as it may have been at one point, but there's still so much great everything. Just go get in them data banks. That's all I'm saying. But
yeah. I got a video on how to make a microscope with a cat laser toy. You got to go see it.
But if you want to keep up to date with it on like a daily basis, Everyday Astronaut's great. Anton Petrov is great, and then Angry Astronaut is great as well. All three of those, I think. I love it.
Angry Astronaut, he too has opinions.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
He's great. Okay, but David did ask a great question, and Stormy, you can answer it probably better than any of us can, but I did find a great visual for this as well.
There's a whole bunch of space junk out there. Yeah, that's the latest track. I mean, there was back in, I think, in the 50s or the 60s, for whatever reason during the Cold War, the United States launched millions of little tiny copper needles into space, into orbit. These little, I mean, they're a sewing needle size. They're all made of copper. And the idea was they were going to reflect radar signals off of this little floating needle shield to see what was going on in this Soviet. Well, it had marginal results, but now we're picking those. I mean, the space shuttle was always picking these needles out of the tiles because they were still there. Now they've kind of dispersed all around the globe. So, I mean, that's millions of pieces of the crap that, like, right there, that's going to take hundreds of years to ever settle back to Earth. But yeah, there's like you know what, help at all. Yeah. A lot. We have now we're building satellites that have the ability to deorbit themselves if they're no longer of use or if something goes wrong. But still, we send a bunch of stuff up, between Sputnik and maybe 2000. That's just going to be stuck there. They had limited use. They were short-term use satellites, but there was no plan to bring them back, and so there's this whole cloud of junk orbiting Earth.
Well, I mean, from just the visualization of this, there's so many, and the orange is active, so at least it seems like everything's primarily active. But just look at all this out here, uncategorized, and all the just general space around everything. It's not just right here.
Here's a good fact about the orange stuff. Half of all those orange satellites are owned by SpaceX.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. For the affordably expensive...
The what? Say it again.
The affordably expensive Wi-Fi and stuff, broadband and stuff as well, isn't it?
Well, literally, last month I was in the jungle in Cameroon, 5 miles from the Congo, like literally in like the deep jungle rainforest, and we only had it for a couple hours a day because you don't have much of fuel for your generator. But if the generator's on, we have Starlink. It was just insane. You can be in the middle of a rainforest and still have Starlink internet.
I know guys that's mounted Starlink to the top of their Bush airplanes. So they have what they do is they have like these caravans of small airplanes that's all sharing the one Starlink of the mother plane. It's got the signal, so then they share it out for communication and navigation systems, especially weather.
It's just insane, and that's happened all so quickly. It feels like 2 to 3 years for manned space shuttles. What is it going to look like in 5 years with AI, manned space shuttles, everything else that's coming up? We can predict a lot of things. We can predict a lot of things well, but I don't think your average Joe can predict anywhere remotely what life's going to look like in the next 5 years.
Yeah, but I
Put it
can
this way,
all this.
there's a contract with the British military with some companies to build an engine that is capable of atmospheric and extra-atmospheric flight, so it's low orbital flight from the ground to the air, to orbit, basically, without rockets. The idea is to replace the afterburner for the propellant as it's not quite like an aerospike, because that's the idea that people have an aerospike engine will be the one that goes from the ground to orbit and stuff. But it's basically what it is. It's a single engine that can function as two, and they've got a plan to test it on some drone aircraft, some new drones that we're building. First time we're building our own drones, actually.
Cool.
We usually buy them from the US or somewhere else. So yeah.
Well, while it's still up on the screen, real quick before I drop it off, this is the link for this. It is a University of Texas, so UT Austin. I guess they just their space department or whatever their department that covers all this has space junk tracker right here, and it's great.
The link. I'm sorry. Yeah, that link I just put in, that is the link for Project Ford. That's the copper needle BS that went down during the Cold War.
Which David just made a great joke about. Is that why UAPs crash on Earth? Bloody fucking needles.
Bloody fucking copper needle.
It's that copper, man. They just can't survive the copper.
I can just imagine aliens come visit Earth. We're getting close. Let's just get just close enough where we can see what's going on. They got some fancy telescopes or something. And then they run into just a slew of copper needles, and it just tears apart part of their ship. And they're like, shit, now we're stuck. There we go.
Here we are.
Yeah, but what about all the satellites that we've got up there that have no actual casing for cooling reasons? They just got exposed boards and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Those aren't going to last.
Hopefully they'll be further out than the needles.
Well, yeah, I mean, those things, they let me answer Joe Citizen's question. Starlink satellites will auto deorbit automatically. But yeah, concerning the satellites without any casing, they took the casing away from the satellite just to have it as a lighter launch, so the thing just weighed less. It was a cost cutting measure, because the satellites that they took the casings off were not meant to run for years and years. They're meant to run for maybe months or weeks at some point.
I mean, it didn't turn out that way. They ended up working a lot longer. Which is what happened with on Mars as well, isn't it? With the rovers and everything, they seem to be working a lot better than expected.
Oliver did bring up a good point. That's literally how District 9 starts.
I do have the urge to eat some rubber tires right about now.
Some cat food,
or maybe cat food. But I was thinking some Michelins for dinner. Yeah.
Well, no good years.
Does anybody have any more space questions?
Yeah, we're on a roll. Honestly, this is fun to go like true sciencey and spacey, because we leave the fiction behind for a bit and go into the science aspect of things.
Well, all science is fiction until it's proven as fact.
Yeah,
that's right.
One of the line from
where's my quote?
Firefly. Honey, this is almost like science fiction.
Oh, I thought you meant the one that's getting awfully crowded in my sky. Right?
Yeah.
That's it. It's a Ray Bradbury quote. I used to have it posted right here. I'm mad I don't, but it's one of my favorite quotes. Is anything you dream is fiction, and anything you accomplish is science. The whole history of mankind is nothing but science fiction.
That's true.
Pretty great,
Yeah.
If there aren't any other science questions, is that a good quote finale on for us?
There probably is not a better quote to end on than that. That was a really good quote.
Ray Bradbury, the man, the myth, the legend.
No shit.
Well, let's end this thing. Y'all don't forget to do. And it
Was he
disappears.
saying anything whilst that was up? Because I'm hoping that he's aware that no one can actually hear him when that's up.
Yeah, no one knows what's going on. One last question from David B. When will a person land on Mars? Will it be in our lifetime? Well,
Yes.
So I'm in my 60s, and I think it'll happen in my lifetime.
I think it'll be stormy.
So if it doesn't happen in my lifetime, it'll be because SpaceX went bankrupt.
Well, I like Melvin's idea. We need sidetrack representation in space as well. And Danny Gandalf, my friend, I think that might be you.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I used to do that. A couple years ago, we'd do this thing with the same thing, Sunday thing with Jamie, and then I'd go over to SciWorks and then do a Q&A on whatever the science topic was of the day.
Oh, that'd be a fun thing to do. If you ever want to do that, let's do it.
Well, let me think of. Let me think of.
I mean, we plan it out.
I got to find all my files. Where are all my files? They're on a hard drive someplace. But
well, you could also take a look at Neil deGrasse Tyson's best sci-fi movies. Yeah.
Do that. But I really,
Like crap.
I love doing SciWorks. There was, I did a bunch of, archaeology ones for petroglyphs in Central California. They just fascinate me. This a couple weeks ago, I had vacation, so we went to 6 national parks in Utah. We just wrung out southern Utah, and we found.
Did we hit them all?
No, well, we hit 6.
Okay.
Well, 5 were in Utah. 1 was in Colorado. We started with Mesa Verde National Park in Colorado, and then went to Arches, Canyonlands, the top and the bottom, and then Capitol Reef, then Zion, then Bryce, then Grand Escalante National Monument, and then I drove all the way to Las Cruces. That was a hell of a drive. But there's another great petroglyph panel in the Needles section of Canyonlands.
Damn Needles again.
Yeah, right. There's Bears Ears National Monument. It's called Newspaper Rock. Google it. Amazing petroglyph.
Newspaper Rock.
Rock.
They say finding Earth could be a needle in a haystack, and
Needle thing.
it's starting to make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Oliver says, "Will we see an Alcubierre drive or an Alcubierre drive in our lifetime?" What is Alcubierre? Star Trek?
Maybe, I don't. I think there's a lot of other technologies that may leapfrog.
Isn't that a warp drive engine? Isn't that one of the? I get the feeling that's describing or the name given to one of the warp drive theories.
Yeah, it's. As I understand it, is one of the billion warp theories.
Yeah,
but because you want to get, because the thing, we got to get off of reaction control systems. We got to get away from reaction rocketry. We got to get into reactionless space propulsion, and that is something. Essentially, it's warp drive. But this is, it's a good candidate for it.
Power to weight with energy ratios. Will we ever be able to generate enough energy on a spacecraft to go to warp as well, to create a stable bubble? There's there's loads of theory problems with it, isn't there?
And I think the biggest thing that's holding us back for that whole topic is we don't have the math to describe it.
No.
I don't think it's is in the realm of possibility. We don't understand physics. I don't think
we've got no ascended beings to help us, unfortunately.
That's true. You just got me.
What we're put on this planet for, so then you can go talk to them.
Oh, goody.
Well, we know how ignorant they are. They're all ignorant until they need help with something, and then they'll come and ask for help, but not necessarily ask. They'll just say, "You got what you came for, Daniel Jackson. Now I suggest you act on it." Jesus Christ.
So if we here's a question for you guys: if we had one object from science fiction that we could just have and use, what single object would it be?
Spore
I
drive.
don't know.
And it's
Spore drive.
Okay, warp drive. I'm gonna say, I mean, obviously, I want to say lightsaber. Doesn't make sense, but I think Stargate. I think the Stargate itself.
Yeah,
I'd say the drive from Expanse, actually.
Yeah, because I want to be that. I want to be that that little race guy that just smashes through the barrier. My brain.
Not the guy that's
Yeah.
still out there testing that built the engine in the first place, and then he's still out there. They never
They
found
both
him.
died tragically. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm with Harris on this. I think because if you have a Stargate, you don't need the spaceship.
Well, why not put them together like David just said and
You could.
puddle jump?
Puddle jump.
Why not like Atlantis and have a wormhole drive? You wouldn't need a gate then.
That's
Oh, there
true.
we go. We need the wormhole drive. Okay, that's our one thing. The wormhole
Oliver
drive, puddle jumper.
has a really bad idea. We'd be getting a universe full of petunias and whales, and we don't need whales falling from the sky.
Hey, space whales.
But I
Amazing.
love the conviction of your quote,
Yes.
and I really do miss Douglas Adams.
Well, at least no one said anything about ludicrous speed going to plaid.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Yes,
Another little
we do.
good question. When will NASA permanently be on the moon? You think?
If it still exists, you mean? As
The moon or
it
NASA?
is at the moment. Will NASA? Even better for that question is, will NASA exist as the organization it is right now when we have a permanent presence on the moon?
Yeah. Oh,
At the moment, it's more of a regulatory thing now as well, isn't it? Issuing licenses and stuff like the FAA.
That would be the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration. I think NASA is going to be around. They're for a very long time. Their mission is much greater than just the moon. I think NASA's focus right now is figuring out.
I think it should be more of a global thing, not just NASA.
Yeah,
it's like the European Space Agency. Everything should all be incorporated. It should be more of a global thing, in my opinion.
I agree, but it won't. Because, well, I mean, there was there was a question I saw. Why do so many states have electrical grid issues? And we could fly a helicopter on Mars. Why is that? And the answer was because these states, they're run by politicians. Mars is run by scientists. So I think I don't know if the question correctly is when will NASA I don't think the question is when will NASA permanently be on the moon, but when will humans permanently be on the moon? Because I think there's a bigger chance of one of the new commercial space company putting people
SpaceX on the moon building a like a relays launch site for Mars.
Right. I mean,
it's going to be easier to launch a mission from the moon to Mars than it is going to be from Earth.
Yeah, but anyway, I think it is more likely, I think, than a private entity like SpaceX or whatever to put a person on the moon, or even maybe another country like
as long as they don't try and claim the moon as their country, it's fine, because that would be against international law.
Yeah.
Well, then you cannot let Spaceport Cornwall get there first, then.
And the reason people aren't complaining about the stars and stripes on the moon anymore is because we know that it fell over when the Apollo launch lifted off again.
You can see the video of the flagpole.
Yeah, we do.
I don't want to say withering in the wind, but reacting to the blast.
Yeah.
And also the UV's turned it all white by now.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so is NASA going to do it first? Maybe. I think, but there's an equal chance, probably a little more likely.
I know India came out of nowhere with that mission.
What was that?
India came out of nowhere with that mission.
Oh yeah.
And he always has
I didn't even
surprises.
know they planned it. All of a sudden, it's like all of a sudden they landed on the moon. It's like I was looking at how NASA had sent their first capsule to orbit the moon and come back, and then all of a sudden, a few weeks later, India's landed on the moon. Like, what?
Yeah.
Surprise.
What the fuck?
I mean, there's already like just private individuals that's put stuff into space. I mean, it's suborbital, but
You can do it in your garage. You can do it in your garage now. You can build a rocket in your garage powerful enough to get you into orbit.
I
The only
mean,
problem is the FAA regulations have to be involved, right?
I mean, Kentucky Fried Chicken put a bucket of chicken into space.
What was the point in that?
Because it had a
You
picture
gotta
of
feed the aliens.
the Earth as the background. I mean, it's all marketing, and it probably costs less.
I could just see it now. Someone on ISS looking out with their own camera, and they'd, oh look, there's a KFC bucket. Feed the world, guys. Feed the world.
You know how depressing that would be, eating your astronaut food that you're having to like
Yeah,
you
eat all that special stuff out of that bag.
fried chicken out the window.
This stuff is disgusting, and you look out, and this KFC bucket goes past the window.
You would just want it so bad.
So David,
following behind it, there was a Pizza Hut box.
A Pizza Hut box of friggin'
and you know we are talking about space junk today. So do I think
Now
there's any useful material on the moon? Oh yeah, certainly there's useful material on the moon. Back when I lived in Silicon Valley, I met the guy that was doing mooncrete. This is during the Bush administration, and he was tasked with coming up with how building materials from the moon, and he came up with mooncrete. Really, I went to his lecture, and it was, God, he was smart. But yeah, so everything you need to build like permanent settlements, you don't have to fly it all off of Mars. Earth or the asteroid belt material. That you can actually, dig something, build something that's UV safe, that's cosmic wave safe, out of the materials that's on the moon. And of course, if we ever find like hydrogen-3 on the moon, well, we're off to the races.
Yeah, that is funny. Okay, is it no go? Because I'm not going to say the other one. I think it is, but I think it's no go. Howdy, Peter. We're kind of at the tail end of everything, but we had a great talk today. So catch up, because it was just great having everybody. We literally had the whole crew here for a certain point, which was amazing. But Tom Scott put garlic bread into space once, then ate it. Tom Scott's great. I'm sad he doesn't make videos like he used to, because he's great. Well, I think the last question I know we have is the Arc series opinions. I never watched it myself, but y'all?
It's better than not having it, I think.
I can't remember when Arc was supposed to come out, but I don't even think we can get it in this country. I don't think.
Is it on? I think it's on Netflix, isn't it?
I don't know. I mean, unless I'm thinking of the Arc with a Q, not a K. There was two shows called Arc, but one's
the Arc with the K is Dean Devlin's new show, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to say. Yeah. I might be thinking of the wrong one, but I know there is a show called Arc that isn't available in the UK.
Yeah. Well, if it's Dean Devlin's show, I've been meaning to watch that one. I just haven't gotten around to it with half of another series. But we were talking about animation and just good sci-fi series right now. What is just on Netflix that was on HBO Max, so now it's a little more accessible to everybody on Netflix, is Scavenger's Reign. If y'all haven't watched it yet, go watch that.
Scavenger's Reign.
Do you remember when I was clamoring about that when it came out last year?
Maybe.
You'd probably recognize it if you saw like the little trailer of it, but it is where I was saying Shogun was the best pound for pound probably season of television I've ever seen. This might not just be like.
I think the thing about Shogun
this would be the only thing I would.
Else going for it. Shogun has something else going for it. It's like the old style show that we used to watch before everything went downhill. It's like that's how it feels to me. It's like it's so good because it's what we used to get, not because it's new, but because it's the same as what we used to get with. Because before,
it makes me want to go watch the old '80s miniseries for Shogun.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah,
But Scavenger's
the
Reign
photography
is,
new, obviously, but the show itself, that's how it felt to me. It felt like it was a good old show that I used to watch when I was younger.
Oh, it's got that crazy woman from Walking Dead that was there for a season.
Oh, Scavenger's Reign.
Yeah. She ran what the tripsters, the trash hipsters. Yeah. Pollyanna something.
Yeah, Macintosh.
Yeah. That's her last name. Right.
It's almost like we can finish each other's sentences when it comes to movie things.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna tear
It's
up.
almost like we can finish each other's sandwiches.
But yeah, I remember this now. I'll have to, it was one of those things I hear about it and then I forget about it because there's so much other content out there, material to watch. And dude, I got a book. There's a guy at work. His main gig is an author, and he had another book that dropped this weekend. So I had better go be conversing on the first 3 chapters before I go to work.
His main gig is an author, and he also works for Virgin Galactic as a rocket scientist. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's their VG is full of remarkable people.
I was about to say that's the epitome of remarkable. I can't even say the word remarkable right there. Such a great word. I couldn't even get it out.
So yeah, I prefer finishing sandwiches.
Sentai.
Weird as fuck. I must go now. Oh, Sente Ranger Donnie's bidding us goodbye. See you, Sente.
Scavenger's Reign is weird as F. Very in
So
your face.
how was it going? Didn't you say something about half? 1 hour 30, something was going to happen, or?
Yeah, and then we started talking about science, and it just got more fun again. And here we are, an hour later, and it's been great.
Is that why my ass is asleep? Oh my God, it is. I was while I was starving. I can't feel my neck.
The second you said finishing sandwiches, I was like, oh, that kind of sounds nice right now. I was like,
on a food truck.
Yeah.
I would finish a sandwich, but I haven't even baked my bread yet. So.
Oh, you lazy thing, you! How dare you?
I
like how people call me lazy because I haven't started baking my own bread yet, but I'm lazy.
Terrible! How dare you even admit that in public?
2 seconds later,
I have actually concentrated more on flatbreads, pan-fried flatbreads.
I had a bagel for breakfast, and it's no longer holding me. Okay, yeah, so I do have to go get something to eat before my diabetes takes control and I'm in a coma.
Well,
hey, thank you for having me on here today. I really do appreciate it. Missed you guys.
Oh my God, I'm just so happy we're all here again. It's just fun.
It's been a rough year, hasn't it, for all of us? It's been a really tough fucking year. Some more than others.
And Melvin just had some health issues as well, and so I'm
Melvin, stop that shit.
Okay,
no
health
issues for you. Damn it, Melvin.
No, it was only about a tonsillitis. I only had it for just under 2 weeks. First time it's the second time I've had tonsillitis. The first time I had tonsillitis, I was a kid. I had it for 3 weeks because they gave me the wrong medication the first time.
Oh, that's a bad way to start.
But this time I knew how to deal with it, and I made sure that they gave me the right meds. Although I couldn't really ask them, I had to type it on my phone. I literally can't talk. My throat was closed. But yeah, but at least it didn't last as long this time. So just 2 weeks of antibiotics. Got 2 left, I think. 2 days left that I've still got to take just to make sure. Always finish a course of antibiotics because you never know.
Oh, you always finish your courses of antibiotics. I had a tremendous staph infection of the leg. Hospitalized, ICU for 3 days. Missed work for 6 weeks. Staph infections, do not fuck around with them. You finish all your antibiotics and then you beg them for more just in case. There's something swimming around.
Is it bad that I got back from Africa, got prescribed antibiotics, took them for 2 days, and then decided to not take them anymore? And then I just didn't eat for a day and a half or 2 days, really, and just fasted. And I'm okay now. All good.
Yeah, that's bad.
This is how you get brainworms from Africa.
Hey, well, if I end up like RFK running for something, we'll know something happened. If a little brainworm freaking
wasn't there someone who like went on holiday to Africa and came back and had like maggots burrowing through his skull or something?
Oh, but okay, I went to the doctor, got checked out and everything, so I got all the blood work and work. So
and was this a witch doctor in Africa, or was this like an actual MD from like your healthcare?
Oh, both. You know,
both. Okay.
So when we see something going like that out of your eyeball, when we see that coming, something like sticking out your eyeball like that, we can say, well, you should have taken them antibiotics.
Oh, you've watched Clone Wars, the animated one, right? Melvin, you watched animated Clone Wars?
Yes.
You know when Barris is in that like first episode where that just immediately made me think of that. Ooh.
Yeah, I thought brainworms that was just some sort of fictional thing, but there was in the early days of streaming, there was this one woman, can't remember her name right now. But anyway, she went to Africa and she got some sort of a brain parasite from blankets that she would sleep on the same blankets that she would ride on the camels.
Oh.
And she, last I heard, she can't have a driver's license for life, and she had seizures until they found out there were parasites living in her brain. So yeah, that's would not like Sarah Lane. What was her name?
So,
Sarah Lane.
Bottom line, should have taken your antibiotics.
Yeah, she was on some other paralytic, I want to say. She was, it took her a while to figure out why she kept passing out, and it turned out to be brain parasite. I don't know if it was an amoeba, I don't know what it was, but
it's not uncommonplace for people to have cat parasites, and that people just have household cats, which terrifies me because I've had a cat.
It's very rare.
It is. Okay.
I thought you were a cat parasite, Harris.
Shh! Don't tell people, man. I gotta keep. Don't blow my cover. Damn.
All right, guys, I'm serious. I gotta go put my pants on, and I gotta go find a food truck because I'm starving, and I can tell my blood sugar is crashing. But I love all of you guys. Melvin, don't get sick again. No more tonsillitis. For you.
It's great seeing you again, Stormy.
I'm telling you again, no more tonsillitis for you.
No more. Well, thank y'all. We love
tempted
y'all.
to just say to the doctor, book me an appointment to get him moved. It'd be easier.
Oh, Laura, MRSA, stop! Oh my God, I had no idea. Stop that too. Stop with the MRSA. Stop this. Everyone, stop with the MRSA. Stop with the staff. Stop with everything.
All of it.
That's the problem.
Laura, you get that. That's a steep. That's a steep.
Melvin, you got anything else to say? Because I might say that might be a good spot to end it. We made it an hour past where we said we would, and
yeah, we'll end with Harris's parasites.
And as I promised in the pre-chat on Facebook, I did not talk too much. I did not extend this conversation past 45 minutes.
I did.
Yeah.
And then prompted him to continue.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No, we're just having a damn good time. But yeah, that it?
That's it.
We got it all?
We got it all. Including
we love y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
All right.
Later.
Well, Acolyte, anything before we jump out? Anything that y'all want to just plug real quick? Melvin, you have any streams coming this week? Acolyte, watch party on Tuesday, afterthoughts on Wednesday, of course. And past that, Melvin, what you thinking?
I'm likely going to be doing a live for Doctor Who to celebrate the ending. Thank God it's over, and also talk about the ratings and. But that will be like the next to last video I'll do. The last one I'll be doing will be the following week after the 7-day numbers come out for the final episode. So, other than that, yeah, probably doing probably Monday, Tuesday ish. I've got to make sure that the numbers are released first. So,
See you, Laura. Bye, Oliver.
See everybody. Stormy, any Professor Cringe or anything going on?
Dude, with all the hospital and work, and I just no, I haven't done anything.
All right.
I think I had stuff queued up through the beginning of February, and by that time I was already in the hospital, so I didn't do. It's there. Plenty of stuff to watch though, or listen to.
The only good thing I know we have gotten from these hospital visits, besides health from y'all again, is this illustrious Danny Gandalf beard. I know you said to shave it, but I want it full Gandalf. I think you should go full Gandalf with that thing.
It's already in my mouth as I sleep. It's got to go. I mean, it's just
I was talking to somebody about that because whenever I have the full handlebar, it just every time I eat, it goes in. So it's it's awful, but it's
the grooming after a meal is just insane.
So much,
I got to get rid of it.
But I think that's it for us. We love y'all. We'll see y'all soon. I'll figure out next Sunday again too, because we're back at it.
We're back at it.
All right. Doodles.
Bye.
Later all.